The number one reason why couples get divorced in a year was sexual incompatibility. They're like, I can deal with a lot of things. This not one. God wants sex to be in the kingdom, and the church is afraid to talk about that.
Dr. Alduan Tartt and his lovely wife, Mecca Tartt, is in the building.
I had a romantic interest when he walked in the door. I saw him on TV, but it was the first time since like high school love that someone gave me butterflies. And I was like, he might be my one.
Run your receipts down. What shows have you been on?
Love Addiction on TV One, Fantasia for Real, Housewives. But the one she's talking about was MTV Made.
Yeah.
This woman's not falling over her feet for me. I even told her, I was like, yo, I'm dating somebody else. I'm trying to decide who I want to get serious with. And she says, well, that doesn't have anything to do with me. I know what it is.
Of course he would be, right? This is a successful man that's attractive, but I knew what I brought to the table.
I was hot when she met me. Second, third date, BET Awards. She's on the red carpet with me.
You brought her with you?
Right. So, I saw, like, no, she ain't never done no red carpet. I try to kiss her. She leans back. And I said, look, just be honest. If you don't like me, just say you don't like me. And she said,
this was a beautiful date. I had a wonderful time. I'm not the type of woman that's just going to kiss anyone, especially on the third date.
You were able to regulate your emotion.
Because the woman sets the pace and the tone of the relationship.
A gangster. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. But you know what? This is how I want my daughters to date. My mom will be clapping.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the light-skinned curly hair didn't do nothing for her. She ain't even phasing this dude.
I've always been this way because my father dated me first.
How soon did you start talking marriage talk?
I'm more the hare. She's the turtle. And so I was like, look, you know, I can go get me in a truck cash. She was like, with what money? Not the money for the wedding. I was like, wedding? Girl, you don't want to get married. And she said, I want to get married. I said, so you just don't want me to have a truck.
Why is marriage important for the Black community?
Can I get that one?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, y'all can tag team. The Dear Future Wifey podcast has global impact. From Texas.
I have been on this journey of healing and self-discovery, and this podcast has been a vital part of my process.
Guyana.
God's establishing through you a legacy, a display of freedom found in authentic spirituality.
California.
I've learned so much as a single man through your podcast and continue to learn so much as now a married man.
Nigeria.
This is just therapy for me. You know, I've been healed. I've been strengthened in my convictions. I've understood how to do singlehood better.
Amsterdam.
The way that you've shown us how it is possible for a man to be as intentional as you are.
New Jersey.
I appreciate your vulnerability. I appreciate just being able to see that there is life after divorce.
To New York.
I am a single woman, so these episodes really give me hope and courage that God does have a husband for me.
Discover, uncover, and recover love. I'm LaTerrace R. Whitfield, and this is season 10 of the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. I'm your host, LaTerrace R. Whitfield. Listen, are you still shacking up with us? If you're still shacking up with us, can we get a commitment? Hit that subscription button and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified about upcoming episodes. And while you're at it, just go and hit that like button right now. Hit that like button. This is going to be an episode that you are going to thoroughly enjoy. You know, this is the season. I told y'all at the beginning of this year that the mission of the Dear Future Wifey podcast is to increase marriage rates in the Black community and decrease divorce statistics while providing tools so that we can do our relationships a whole lot better. And so today is a special day because I have an expert. You know, a lot of times people try to call me an expert. I say, hey, listen, I ain't no expert. I didn't go to school for this. I just made a lot of mistakes. So, but this is for real an expert, somebody that I truly admire. His wife is a force. And so without further ado, I want to welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast, my homie, Dr. Alduan Tartt and his lovely wife, Mecca Tartt, is in the building. How y'all doing?
Hey, appreciate it, man.
Doing
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
We're excited. Good to see you, brother.
Listen, you know, I've been talking to you about the last 2 years trying to get you on the podcast. And so you finally got time in your schedule to come bless the yellow couch.
We'll see. She kept producing children. So, right.
So it's only her fault. She the one producing kids.
But you know what? When she plays, Rihanna, that gets me every time. You know what I'm saying?
That get you excited.
Yeah.
It was funny. We were talking earlier. Your desire initially was to have how many kids?
7.
7 kids.
So there was a psychologist by the name of Wayne Dyer, and he brought all 7 of his daughters on stage, and I said, that's going to be me. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know.
So you wanted 7 kids solely because you saw this other therapist have 7 kids?
I just thought and it's only just myself and my brother. I just thought it was a cool idea.
To have 7 kids. And what you think about that while dating him, Mecca?
Listen, I was 25 when I met him, and I was like, no, I'm not ready to have 7 children at 25. So yes, I did make him wait 5 years.
Hold on. So this relationship expert had to wait 5 years to marry you.
Yes, as he was doing speaking engagements. And of course, there was always that woman in the audience that would say, well, how come you're not married?
That part.
And it was me, but he did get, all of the brunt of everything with that.
So how'd you deal with that? Because, of course, people in relationship spaces, I get accused of that all day. People be like, Laters don't want to be married. I'm like, y'all don't know what I do privately. You don't know what relationships work, fail, stuff, how far I've gotten. You don't know all that. But then they'll assume that, you have this huge platform. You have all these women that are listening and eating up this advice. You really don't want to be married because men hold the key to marriage. And that's not really true if she don't want it to unlock her heart.
Right.
So how'd you deal with that, Alduan?
It was just, that was just kind of funny. All right. I was like, man, if I tell y'all, I'm going to put her on blast. But I'm like, look, I'm trying, right? In the streets, why don't y'all ask her, right? And then it was 2 friends of mine, Kenny and Jack. And we were all on the circuit together, and none of us were married. We were all seriously dating. All right. And so I was like, we're just going to take this heat together. But at the end of the day, we gonna get married.
Did all 3 of y'all get married?
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted... it's interesting. I never envisioned not getting married. Like in my family, everyone's married. Like when you go to our family reunion, everyone's married. And so I never thought it was I never knew you didn't. Now this is privilege. I never knew you didn't get married. You grow up, you find a wife who fits into the culture of my family. You have to be able to cook. You have to be strong. You have to be an alpha woman, like her dealing with my mom and my aunts.
Yes, lots of alpha women in his family, for sure.
Right. And so I was like, you have to be able to host events. You have to be able to cook for 40, 50, 60, 70 people.
Not that many.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have 60 people over at our house for Easter. No, really, we do.
And you cook by yourself, all those people?
See, listen.
Okay.
I'm a new age wife. So that's a lot, I work hard just like him, so we split it up. We do, but I host, though.
Really? So y'all 2 will still cook? Like
I'm not going to even lie, because everyone, Alduan cooks. No,
you said 2?
Yeah, both of y'all will cook.
Split it up.
She said y'all split it up.
No. We host together. I'm trying to think, baby. The last thing you made me was risotto, right? Risotto, as far as a dinner meal, and that's when we were dating. It took him like 2 hours to make the risotto. I said, "Let me just get this man out the kitchen." I mean, I appreciate that.
That's game too, though.
Yes, it is. Yeah, just real be slow so that she'll just take over.
Right. No, but that's just part of the culture of our house. Is that my mom hosts, her mom hosts. You have to host a holiday. That's just kind of like. It's just kind of like how it is. So I will help out with cleaning out.
But you said 67. That's not like a family reunion.
No, for real. That's how it is. We have big families. That's how it is. You have to be able to cook en masse, and people will bring a dish, but largely that's on us. So yeah.
So how is your family big like that?
Yes, my father has 7 siblings. Well, 7 including him.
7.
And so, yeah. So I'm used to all of my family's in Los Angeles. So I'm used to the big gatherings. And honestly, it's just, I feel good when I do it. Like I like to host and have family and friends. And then for my friends, we have friends over too during the holidays, because I also don't like for people to be alone.
Really? So you just invite people over?
I do.
And y'all were aligned with that?
Absolutely.
Which is cool, because a lot of times with couples, you may have one person be like, oh, y'all like, and the other person like, I don't need all these people at the house like that.
Right.
And so y'all were aligned from that. You said, so you're from California.
Originally, Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Yes.
And you are too? Or,
I'm from Atlanta.
You're from Atlanta, but you lived in California.
Right, I used to live in Inglewood. You from Inglewood, girl.
Well,
by way of South Central.
Yes,
She's not from
Shout
LA.
Out to Inglewood.
She's from
South
Inglewood
Central.
by South Central.
South Central.
Your grandma lives in South Central.
Yes.
Right.
She's going to try to be, I'm from Los Angeles.
Right.
I'm from Baldwin Hills. No, you're not. Not Baldwin.
No. We were at that back in the day, that Magic Johnson Starbucks.
Listen. But we do have a huge family. So family is important to us. I just wasn't ready to have 7 children at 25. And so, yes, I knew when I met Alduan that he was the one for me.
How did you know that?
Oh my gosh. So I will tell you, I used to host a lot of events. I still do host a lot of events, but I was hosting events for women. I was like, we're fly, single, professional, like we should be married. So I'm going to host an event for single women.
At 25?
Yeah. And so just prospecting, right? So I reached out to, I saw him on TV, on a popular TV show, and he was helping like this socially awkward
What popular
boy.
TV show?
It was MTV Made.
Okay, because he done been on all kinds. Go ahead. I want you to just run your receipts down. What shows have you been on? What's the biggest show you've been on?
Probably
You've done some ABC. You've done work with them and Fox
we had a show. Yeah, we did Fox. I had a show. Love Addiction on TV One.
Yeah.
Fantasia for Real.
Yep.
Housewives. But the one she's talking about was MTV Made.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was a maid coach.
Yeah.
So I've just been blessed to, so I'm excited about it.
So I saw him on TV, and I saw another therapist that was also located in Atlanta on a different network. I think it was like BT maybe. And so I reached out to both of them. I'm a sales rep. So I reached out to both of them. I said, I want one of them to actually come and speak to us and figure out what tips we need to become the wife, right? And so reached out to both of them, did not hear back from either of them. And so I continued to reach out. And then I finally sent him an email and said, hey, I actually am prospecting several psychologists in the area. Please let me know if you're interested in this opportunity or I will move on.
Oh, okay. Tell them.
And I was like, who is this woman talking to me like this? Right? I was like, I don't even know you, right? I didn't commit to this. You didn't send a contract.
She said, I will move on.
But I said, I'm a man. I said, I'm look at her Facebook. Right, I looked at Facebook. I said,
"Got caught up."
Boy. I called her back, and she was talking about lunch. I said, "I cannot do lunch, but I can do dinner." Right, I can do dinner. And until she walked in with this prom dress.
I did not have
on
a prom dress.
Prom dress, bro.
I had on a business professional dress. In his mind, it was a prom dress because he knew when he saw me that I was the one. So in his mind, it was a prom dress when it was a business professional after 5 dress.
I didn't get you a corsage, girl. But anyway.
So let me ask you this, Alduan. Why'd you say dinner? You were available for dinner, but not lunch?
It was just something about her. When I saw her, I was like, I like her, like her profile. Let's talk about profile game, right? So her profile was weird. It was a weird combination. So of course I saw the swimsuit. I was like, okay, all right. And then I would see that she would be dressed up going to church. I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then I would see her selling art. Okay.
Selling art.
Then she's selling art for Anthony Liggins,
one of the top African-American artists.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So he was in different type of sales.
Yes, so I was in medical device sales then, but a sales rep has several things going on. So I was also selling artwork for Anthony Liggins because I was, interfacing with doctors and the doctors wanted to invest in artwork.
Smart.
And then she was working out and I was like, this is a very interesting woman. I've never seen this combination. And then how she talked to me was with such authority. It was polite, rude, right? It was like professional rude, like a sales rep. Like, do you want the product or not?
Did you say polite, rude?
It was impolite, rude. And so I looked at the Facebook and I said, oh, this is interesting. All right. And so when she hit me up, we were talking about, because we're very interested. We're underground matchmakers.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
No business model, because my personality, if you tell me, we done hooked up some people on your show, right?
Okay.
It's like if you tell me you like someone, I'm gonna do the reconnaissance. I'm like, so like, what would you like? Who you like? What about this brother? What about this brother? What about this? Anyway, so I said, let's do a matchmaking event together. Right. Let's meet about a matchmaking event. I'll do your event
for single women.
I want to do a matchmaking event because she knew a lot of men.
Yep.
Because she's in medical device sales. I know a lot of women just because I'm a psychologist. I said, let's hook our friends up.
Yeah.
And she came in with this proposal.
I did. I was ready.
She came in with a proposal.
This was a business meeting.
To her. It was a business meeting. It was not
to her.
Yeah, I wanted to date her and do business, right? All right. And so she's like, who you gonna hook me up with? I was like, oh, all right, no. All right. No, she didn't get it. Terry, like, you know how you flirt?
He was like, I have the perfect person for you. And I was like, who is he? Can you show me a picture?
I was like, this girl kind of green behind the ears.
Like this.
Right,
I was like, she kind of green behind the ears. I don't know about this one. It took her. I don't know. When did you get I was talking about me?
Yeah.
I thought like maybe he's talking about him, but I didn't lean into it because I was still trying to be professional because I met with him for business. Yeah. But
so hold on. So when you think like that, your mind is like, when you're meeting for a specific reason, it's hard for you to have a romantic interest.
So I had a romantic interest when he walked in the door. Remember, I saw him on TV, but it was the first time since like high school love that someone gave me butterflies. Like when he walked in the door, it was very, very different. And I was like, where's this feeling? Like, I thought that was only for high school girls. And I just knew throughout the conversation, I was just like, he might be my one. And we closed out the restaurant.
Yeah,
like they were like,
y'all need to leave.
We're trying to go home at this point.
But she's like, you talk about opposites attract. She's nonplussed. You can't read her. She's a sales rep. You're not.
Do you think you can read me?
Not yet.
Okay.
You can't really read her. So when you're watching whatever's going on, you can't really tell. Like she's composed like Obama under fire. Yeah. She's gonna be the same every single day, right? Like I'm gonna be different. Right, you're gonna be like, "What's going on with him? I'm moody, right?"
Right, St. John's Wort, please. Please take.
You didn't think it's St. John's Wort? Like, no, I'm feeling it today, right? So I couldn't read her, right? But then we had such chemistry and connection. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said, okay.
But I'm talking about that first time y'all talking. Did it stay professional the whole time?
No,
because y'all saying y'all closed out the restaurant.
Yeah.
So
she stays professional.
Yep.
She's
really.
I was tested. Back around.
I was tested. I was 5 different ways
trying to get in there.
But
and you didn't feel anything. You didn't feel no interest. She said when you walked in, she felt butterflies.
Yeah.
But she stayed professional, and the whole time that you find, because I know how men are. We're gonna try to find a little thing, play around, do a little joke, see if she leans in with it. She didn't do that at all.
But I like, first of all, I like drama and I like a challenge. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is interesting. This woman's not like falling over her feet for me. Mm-hmm. This woman is acting like the email. Right.
Like
okay. That's not right. Like she's. I was like, okay, my little tricks.
Right. Yeah.
My little tricks are not really phasing her. I even told her, I was like, yo, I'm dating somebody else. Mm-hmm. I'm never gonna lie to you. I'm telling you this, so if you hear I'm out with dinner with somebody else, I'm trying to decide like who I want to get serious with.
Facts.
I was want to let you know.
Yep.
And she says, well, that doesn't have anything to do with me. I know what it is. I was like,
hold on. She said what?
Listen, he was dating somebody else. Of course he would be, right? This is a successful man that's attractive. And it's Atlanta. But I knew what I brought to the table.
Hold on, what did you say though?
Honestly, I just told him, I was like, look, I know what I bring to the table. I know I'm an amazing woman. And
did you say that had nothing to do with you?
Yeah, I did say that part. But I also said, just like you are dating in Atlanta, there are several suitors that are courting me right now.
She said, let's be clear.
Yes.
And that's true. And she said, yeah, you should probably date her and figure out who you like.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, this woman's cold. Like this woman is like
cold, but confident.
She like a cold murderer. Like just look at you and just be like, yeah, end his life. Right.
But were you willing though? So are you emotionally able to date multiple people at one time?
Yes, but everyone stays at the same level. So I'm not kissing. You will never see me kissing or doing anything intimate with these different people. But I would keep everyone like, okay, you can date and bring me flowers and court me, but we're all like, you guys are
everybody's on the same level.
Yeah,
that's true. So until
it gets serious,
and then you start dropping other people out.
Let me tell you what happened. So I was hot when she met me. I was hot. I was
red carpet.
Listen,
yeah.
What was it? Third date.
Yeah.
BET Awards. Now, I had a show. It never saw the light of day. It was me,
you know how that works.
Tashina Arnold, and Garcelle Bouvet. It was called A Mom, Myself, and I show, right? And Roger Bob was the producer. I was like, oh man. And so the BET was like, let's promote this show. And I remember thinking I was a big deal because we sat next to Chopper. Right, from Making the Band, right? I was like, we sit next to Chopper, all right? And so she came and the stylist was at my house. Mm-hmm. Now, this is back, so it was a limo. I was like, oh man, this girl finna feel me, right? We go to red carpet. She tells she's on the red carpet with me.
You brought her with you?
Right, so so I was like, no, she ain't never done no red carpet, right? So we doing red carpet. She think I roll like this all the time. This is my first red carpet, right? So we doing the red carpet. I'm sitting next to Chopper. Everybody like, hey, Dr. Tartt, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. I go home. I try to kiss her. She leans back. I get so mad.
I think like most men probably would.
Mad, and I'm not slow, but I'm not super fast. I ain't gonna lie. All right, I'm not super fast, but I'm not slow. All right, like I earned a kiss. Right? Yeah.
He's out to the event with me,
and I sat back and I had a real moment. I said, maybe this woman doesn't like me. Maybe this is not a challenge. Maybe she just want to come around to get on the red carpet. So I went outside and I said, look, just be honest. If you don't like me, just say you don't like me.
Absolutely.
I'm grown, right? And she said, well, tell me what you said.
Yeah.
I said, one, this is the way that I present myself, even in relationships, is very important. But I was like, I'm like an onion, and you have to peel back the layers. And I'm not the type of woman that's just going to kiss anyone, especially on the third date. This was a beautiful date. I had a wonderful time.
She said a third date.
But the third date for me wasn't enough for me to know who he was as a person.
But you felt what you felt at the beginning.
Oh, absolutely. But we had to validate that.
But hold on. But you said at dinner, you said this could be the one.
Yes.
That's what came out of your.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you were able to regulate your emotion and the speed of your relationship to say, but I still have to find validation.
Because the woman sets the pace and the tone of the relationship.
A gangster. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like, don't let the smooth taste fool. But you know what?
Like Kermit the Frog, I'm gonna sip my tea.
When she said that ignited the challenge for me even more. Yep. But it also was a security hack. I was like, I know if she ain't doing nothing with me, and I was on the red carpet, and we sit next to Chopper, I couldn't get no kiss. I know
ain't
no one else touching this one. And we talking wife.
Yeah.
This is how I want my daughters to date. Right? My mom would approve. My mom would be clapping.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the light skinned curly hair didn't do nothing for her. She ain't even phasing this dude. Right? I'm out there like, girl, if you don't like me, just say it. Just I'm out there falling apart, right? just be honest. You don't have to lie, right? And so I was thinking, okay, this is my match. This is how I want to roll. And there's another. Okay, we can go to another level. Okay. Yeah.
So you looked at it as a challenge.
I looked at it as a challenge. And for me, it kept my attention. And so men are attracted to the most confident woman in the room. And she's quiet confident. That's what I mean. You can't read her. Right. And so it's like sales rep. You're like, okay, so you gonna buy it or not? We have a deal? Not? Well, let's a few more terms. I'm like, just keep going. Right. So yeah, that was really attractive to me because I'm used to pursuing, but I'm very assertive in the fact that the normal things that will work. But I'll get a kiss on the first date.
Absolutely.
You best believe.
Yeah.
Right?
And then some.
Yeah, right. We ain't gonna go that far.
Amen. We're gonna tell the truth.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
And so, Mecca, you was in Atlanta. Mecca, so the question is this: how were you always like that though, or did you learn to become that after heartbreak?
I've always been this way.
Really?
Because my father dated me first. And so he taught me not to be impressed by just a guy doing one little thing. Because my father was the first person to bring me flowers. And so he had been the person that would court me and date me until I started dating. So I knew what it meant for a guy to really show up and be present in any relationship. So I wasn't the type of girl that would go after the football player or the this or that just because of his status or what he did or who he was in school, because that wasn't enough. And my father showed me that wasn't enough. What is his character like?
At a young age.
Absolutely.
Mecca.
Wait a minute. I know a story he's about to tell. So pause for a second. You want to tell the story? Because I know you're about to call me out.
Who are you dating for me?
Yeah, I'm about to say some football player, huh?
No, it was worse than that. Not worse. The dude was cool. But a rapper, right?
So listen, Latarius. But remember I said I've always been the same person?
Yeah.
So when I would walk into like the studios and stuff with him, they're like, oh, can we get your PR agent's information? They never thought I was a girlfriend. They were like, are you the PR, the publicist? Like, are you his business manager? But no, he was a good person. He pursued me. He came from a 2-parent household. Like, he was a good guy. So my father, again, was just like, if he's a great guy. Now, my father did have a problem when I was trying to go on tour. He was like, absolutely not. My daughter will not be going on tour. Like, that shut down.
He ran interference.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so your father, did he tell you this stuff or did he just model it? Because it's like, did he sit down and say, hey, daughter, like, hey, guy, don't get impressed by him doing one little old thing or whatnot? Did he just give you the tutorial?
No, he told me. And then my grandfather would tell me, don't be, impressed by a guy shucking and jiving. That was his word, right? Shucking and jiving in front of you. And really was a guy that seemed impressive, but really was not. And so he told me those things, but then also he showed me, there was a guy that lived down the street from us. His name was Derek. And Derek would drive down the street. He was older than me. And he would play his music really loud. I was younger. So I was like, oh, here comes Derek. My father walked out the house one day and said, do not come down to this cul-de-sac ever again.
Told that boy that?
Yes. I know that you are trying to pursue my daughter. You're too old. He's like, I don't want to see your car. I don't want to hear your music.
What was the age difference?
I was a freshman in high school. He was a senior in high school.
Oh, he said,
and my father was not.
You're too old.
Yeah.
He said, I ain't playing that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So your daddy be shutting it down.
He's military too. Oh, okay. So my father was not playing that at all.
You'd be like, all right, sir.
Yeah.
He's real cool though.
He is. He's
we share the same birthday. He's real cool.
Oh, really?
Same birthday. Yeah.
He's like you talk about cool, calm, and collect. That's her dad.
Yep.
But he'll say something savage.
One thing and shut down the entire room.
Be like, okay.
One thing.
So she get that from my dad. She get it from my dad.
Right.
And so from that mindset, you was about to say something where you said your dad taught you to focus on character.
Yes.
At that young age, he told you that. And what were character traits that you were supposed to be looking for at that young age?
A man who had empathy, a man who was loving, a man who did what he said he was going to do. So my father said, no man should be calling me after 8:00. And so even when I met Alduan or any other guy I dated, I was like, if you call me after 8:00 or not, well, really 9:00 when I became an adult, I'm not going to answer because you've waited till the very last minute to call me in the day. So I did have, but again, the tone was set by my father.
They'll call you at 8:59 and keep you on the phone.
Yeah, no, right. And I would, because we weren't exclusive yet, I would call her first and call the other women late. 11:15. I was being honest, 10:45.
Right,
but by her. But I also liked, she matches the personality of my mom.
Really?
Right? Yeah, my mom founded schools. My mom runs political campaigns.
Oh, wow.
My mom is just, when she walks in the room, she has a lot of presence. Right? And so I'm used to strong women. Right? So she fits the I'm already like, okay, my mom gonna love her. Right? She's gonna fit right into the aunt. She's gonna fit in all the cousins. She fits the women in my family.
Good.
Right? Because she's strong and resolute. But she also has, you can see she has game. So here I am, this relationship expert, and then I'm running into this smooth, laid back game. Let me tell you, so I went to her house, right? Went to her house, and first, because she seems very conservative, and my worry was, I'm a high character the guy, but you need to be exciting too, right? I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
You need to not be so. You need to be conservative and not conservative. Conservative, yeah. Anyway, so I was like, I don't know, man. She's nice and pure and pristine. But I don't know about the other side, man. All right, man. But God working on me. I was like, all right. So anyway, and so I noticed Victoria's Secret magazines on the coffee table. I was like, maybe. All right. And then I go ask to use her bathroom. And when I close the door, Latarius, there's this teddy that she has hung up on the hook that I wouldn't think she would wear. I was like, maybe there is.
Did you got a roommate?
A little freaky diggy up in there. I don't know, right? But what was interesting is one day I pulled a book off her counter, and it's called Why Men Love Bees. I'm not going to say the word.
Yeah.
And I start opening all the things she highlighted she was doing everything in that book.
Yeah.
Right?
That is
true. What she was showing me is that there's more to me than what you think. I didn't even know until maybe date 5, 6, 7, 8 that she could cook. I was like, I think I found the one, but she can't cook. That's going to be a problem. But you can't have everything you want. And then when she cooked for me, I was like, you can actually cook?
See, it was just one chip at a time, right? Yeah, he doesn't need to get everything off all
you
up front.
following tips from that book.
But I also was studying him too, because he wrote his own book, The Ring Formula. So I read that book from the front cover to the back cover, had highlighted everything, because I knew that I would learn a lot about him through reading his book.
Did you know that she was reading your book?
When she called me, I thought she was just flexing. She's like, I read your book. I didn't think she read it. She's just like, yeah.
Skim through it.
Yeah, but she's a sales rep. She's gonna prospect. She's gonna, you know. And for me, it was interesting because I'm used to doing that. Because I'm the one, like, between the two of us, I would say I'm the more anxious one as far as preparing. And our kids will say, if there's anyone's gonna do I'm gonna do too much. I'm gonna do extra. He gonna say it and then it's gonna keep going and he's extra. I'm the extra guy, right? And so when she was thorough in doing these things, I was like, well, who gaming who? And I said, come here. Well, how long you been doing this book? Right.
He hadn't met me.
So I liked it. And so, yeah, I liked it. It was fun.
Mecca, did you know you had game like that? Like, because you seem very, I ain't gonna say methodical, but you be thinking about some stuff. So did you literally do that from a heart posture to study him so that you can find like points of intrusion where you may sit there and say, I'm going to run game?
So it wasn't really running game. It was making sure, again, that I was pacing the relationship, because I think some women get so excited about Latarius's life, right? You're dating someone. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm dating him. Like, let me get so involved in his world that they forget to maintain their sense of self as a woman. So it's like still making sure that in the relationship, even when you're dating, that you're still showing up. So for me doing those things, of course, I studied them as well. And I studied him because I should want to know about him and he should want to know about me too. But yes, it was very intentional.
But that's what I'm saying. The more you start knowing about them, how do you balance it? Because everybody you date ain't got a book to read. So another person, you may get a chance to just know them based upon just phone conversations. And if you're lucky to know somebody that know them, then you can get some inside tips. But typically people have a very paced dating world where you're just getting to learn them from what they're telling you. Right. He has a cheat code like I have with my podcast. People just start binge watching my podcast and you know how I think. You read the letters that I've written and all that. And now you have intel on me. And so now he has this book that has a cheat code to his heart. Because when you write a book, you're laboring like crazy, putting your thoughts and heart's desires in the book. Which is cool that we're talking about this because I just turned in my manuscript on Monday.
Congratulations.
For my book that's coming out next year. Man. So thank you. Yeah. So, and it's interesting you talked about BT and BT weekend is going on right now. And so the cool thing about it is this, he has this cheat code to his heart from this book. Yep. How were you able to read his stuff without getting consumed with who he is?
Because I had enough going on with myself. Like I had a very loving group of girlfriends. So I was having time with them on the weekends, doing brunch, working out. I had my own support system and community and my own life. Yeah. So my life existed outside of him. The same thing with work. Like, yes, full-time medical device sales rep, but I was also selling artwork for Anthony Liggins. I was also competing in fitness competitions. So my life was very full before I met him. Now, if it wasn't, that's where I see women who like literally they're blowing you up because they don't have anything else going on. So their focus is completely on you. And I think most men feel that too.
Yeah,
she was not jocking me.
So that could work one or two ways. It could be like you said, she's not interested in me because I'm used to all the other women checking for me. Forget her. I don't want. This is going to be hard. How did you find the balance of saying you like the healthy challenge of it? Because she had to be giving you a little something that made you feel like there's still interest and is growing towards something. How did you reconcile that with yourself?
Well, I mean, what God was telling me, that's her. Good. All right, so God was saying, because I was like, God, you know, I'll be going in different directions, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. She knows that my play girlfriend is Rihanna, right? Like, oh man, she might cut me, she might cuss me out. Ooh, that's exciting, right? You want to fight me? You want to fight me?
Did you have a reel that you said you like toxicity in women?
Before I'm that guy that likes drama. So like if I'm
as a therapist,
if I'm talking to a girl, if I'm talking to a homegirl, all right, I want my girlfriend to be like, so who is this? Girl, you like me as much, you'll fight her. You gonna fight her.
Listen.
You gonna slap her from. Oh,
listen,
girl,
we were out on a date. We were out on a date, and I had to. I did have to reel him back in because he picked a shrimp out of another woman's plate, and this was early on in the relationship, and I had to pull him aside.
Was that your friend or his friend?
No, this was his friend.
But this just didn't make any sense, but it made sense. All right, so
listen.
So I was hung. I got there late, and she forgot. because she had borderline ADD, right? I said, give me some shrimp. I said, give me some shrimp. All right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, make sure shrimp's not gone. All right, I get back. So you get my shrimp? And so, I forgot. And then
her friend,
was it my friend?
Your friend?
It was my friend. But we all at the same table. All right. And she said, I got some. You can have some of mine. And I reached over Mecca. I reached literally over her to grab the shrimp. And before I got into she grabbed my hand.
Y'all lost your arm right there.
She grabbed my hand before I could eat it.
Right.
All right.
You grabbed his hand?
Yeah.
And
I said, let's step outside. Right. We went outside. I said, what's up? And she was just like, I know you didn't reach over my plate to eat off of another woman's plate. No. I said, but this is my friend. You know her. She's with her boyfriend. I even said this. I said, so what you say, I'm having a shrimp affair? I mean, like, girl, get over yourself. You should have got me some shrimp. Let it go. And she was just like, go ahead and eat the shrimp. I don't even want it anymore, right?
I don't eat shrimp no more. I only like shrimp no more.
But I do.
You like that, did you?
I do. I need that. Like, because you can't. The worst thing for me is show you don't care, right? So you can be cool, calm, collect, right? But at the end of the day, I mean, there is a reason I'm dating a woman from South Central, by the way, Inglewood, right? That's exciting. I don't like boring.
So you didn't eat the shrimp?
I didn't eat the shrimp. I was like, but you could have asked her to slide it on your tray, but anyway.
So for people that may not understand the context of that, Mecca, why was that? Did you feel like that was disrespectful?
I did feel like it was disrespectful.
Why?
Because if he needed something, I'm supposed to provide that as his girlfriend, as his future wife. It shouldn't be that he is, because I think her boyfriend would have had a problem with that too. Like, why is this man eating out of your plate? Like, y'all really just friends? Like, what's going on?
Me. I mean,
listen. Listen, Latarius, he likes to make sure if I'm in pictures, and I notice this very early on, there has to be that gap of separation. Or he's like, well, what's going on? Like, if it's another man, it has to be that gap of separation.
He'll make garden.
Yeah.
But you know what that is? It's how it looks to other people, right? Like we know him. This is our boy, but it looked like that's not.
That look
like
right.
Yeah, you see, start looking at the comments, Facebook. Right. I'm like, baby, just have some separation. Just
so
do the friends and family. Take pictures. I'm cool with it, but do the friends and family picture. And she knows I do that too.
So show me how that's supposed to be. I'll take the picture.
So like it's none of this.
Right.
It should be like what?
It should be like.
And definitely not the guys that do the hand.
Hand down.
Definitely not.
Yeah. I mean, his hand can be on top of your back, but it needs to be when you look at the picture, like, oh, that's not her.
Can it be over her shoulder like that?
No, bro. No. But she's the same way.
Yeah,
well, she's the same way.
So how he's supposed to pose? Show me how he's supposed to pose with a woman.
So his pose can be just like this.
So it better be a straight space right there.
Listen.
So when did y'all establish that, during dating or while y'all got married?
We're both. I would say we're both pretty secure. Yeah. Right? Like, my thing is, like, either I trust you or I don't. Right? And then I'm not going to ask for something that I don't want in return. I believe in fairness.
Me too.
So if I'm out at media, I don't want you, you can't take pictures with women. I'm going to be like, come on.
Like, this is my whole career now.
You met me, right? I was like, you can run up. You can run up and look up and down. That's exciting to me, right? As long as you don't mess up the vibe with Fantasia, because we are working together. Don't make it feel uncomfortable. But Mecca's not going to do that. Mecca's just going to feel the
right.
Well, yeah, if she sees something,
she'll bring it
I'll notice. She'll walk by and whatnot. That'll be, and sometimes I'll just play around and keep having a conversation. Just like, if you
like all that drama.
And that's why he's a psychologist, because he listens to people's drama all day, and he has a good time, don't you, baby?
Yeah, some people just put me aside. I'm like, what happened? Really? So anyway.
So you tell me. So when she grabbed your hand in public like that, you didn't feel disrespected?
Well, no, because I pulled him aside, so it wasn't. I think it's.
I'm talking when he grabbed the shrimp.
I didn't understand. Yeah. I thought like something happened. I was like, maybe this is allergic shrimp, or like maybe there's something I don't know. Right? When I went outside, I was like, "What's up? Like, what are you doing? I'm hungry." I was blind, and I was like, and I'd like to tell you, I said I understand, but I was just like, so you that insecure if I eat another woman's shrimp,
listen,
even though you know her, even with the boyfriend, even with the boyfriend sitting right there, you tell telling me that when I put this shrimp to my mouth, I'm telling, ooh, girl, I want you so badly. I'm eating the shrimp off your plate. That's what you really believe in your mind right now.
Listen, sir, if you needed a piece of shrimp, she could have slid it right on over to my plate. And then I would have passed it to you.
Oh, that's funny.
And so y'all dated for 5 years.
Yeah.
Alduan wanted to get married. How soon did you start talking marriage talk?
It was what? I wasn't interested in dating.
And that's what he told me.
I was interested in dating towards marriage.
Yeah.
Right? So if you weren't a wife, I wasn't going on a second date with you.
Really?
Right? But I knew she was the one. And so I was like, all right. And God has to work on me in patience. So I said, this makes sense that he would make me wait. And plus, you know, I'm cool. I'm chill. But I did get to the point where I was like, look, this woman, because I'm more of the hare. She's the turtle.
Yes.
Right? So let's make it happen.
Describe us.
I'm the type A. Let's click, clack. What you doing? Why you standing around? What you doing? You don't have anything to do? Right? And she's more chill, laid back. Take your time. And so I was like, look, you know, I can go get me another truck cash. Right? I told her, I said, hey, babe, I'm finna go to Florida. I found a good deal on this truck. I'm gonna get this cash. I'm gonna go get this truck. And she was like, with what money? And I was like, why does it matter? Right? And she was like, not the money for the wedding. I was like, wedding? Girl, you don't want to get married. I'm finna go get me a Cadillac Escalade with the black rim. I'm finna cop the thing tonight. And she said, I want to get married. I said, so you just don't want me to have a truck. That's my first thing. I said, quit playing.
God just happened to speak to me like literally a couple of days before that. And really that's what happened, because I've been praying for a sign when I was actually ready, because I feel like marriage is a promotion at work, right? Just like a promotion at work, you have to be ready to receive that new role. I was ready to be a girlfriend, a serious girlfriend, but I wasn't ready to be a wife yet.
Why weren't you ready to be a wife? How did you self-diagnose yourself that you wasn't wife ready?
Because I wasn't willing to really, truly take into consideration someone else's time, feelings, everything. Because you can't just say, hey, I'm going to do this, I'll get back to you. No, like when you're married, you're making joint decisions as a couple together. And so, no, when you're dating, you can say, hey, yeah, I'm going to Costa Rica with my friends, next month. It's your money. It doesn't really matter. Like, you're making those decisions for yourself, but we make decisions as a unit. And so I knew that was one of the pieces for me. And then also, what would you say? Probably
she's either in or out.
That is true.
So
there's no gray area.
She has an addictive person. So once she's in, she probably should pull out. But her nickname is Kobe. Once Kobe's in, David Goggins. Once David Goggins is in, the leg can fall off. She's going to keep on going. Because you said it's what you want. I was like, but there are these things called shades of gray. There are conditions. If it's raining, you don't have to do this. So I do know she's in or out. So I understood that she had an extreme personality. So like, and her company knows is if it's going to get sold, she's going to get sold.
Oh yeah.
Right. No matter whatever happens, she's going to close the deal.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. No matter what.
No matter what.
So I understood what it was about.
She looked at me like, she said, yeah.
I mean, that's how she is.
Yeah.
She said, absolutely.
You know what's interesting? Like we have a marriage based on talent, right? Like we don't have traditional gender roles. The gender roles are based on talent.
That's good.
And so one time we were in Jamaica and I was so mad. No, where were we? Where was it, Jamaica? It was Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
And she signed us up for one of them timeshare appointments. Yeah. I was livid.
He was like, why are we doing this?
Why? We don't even want this. I don't even want you wasting 2 hours of our vacation.
For a whole presentation.
Sitting there for a presentation, won't even want, right? So we're sitting there and we're listening to the presentation. Now, I'm kind of semi-interested when I'm in there because I'm easy to be sold. I'm like, how many times we go to Jamaica, But I was like, and then I just get to the point where, okay, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to be here, right? And so I look away. And so then they bring in the closer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm secure in my manhood. This was a strapping Jamaican brother, 6'4". I was like, we about to lose all our money. We was walking down the hall. I'm about to lose all.
When they went to get him, I know they were getting the best person.
I was like, this is about to be over. When he walks down, he smiles, and so he's talking to me about the terms. And I'm just looking away, like I'm trying to say I'm not interested. You know what he said, Latarius?
What?
You're not the one I should be talking to, huh? All right. And he turned to Mecca and they start negotiating high and heavy. Right. And I'm sitting back. So why would I negotiate if I'm married to one of the top negotiators in the country? Yeah. Right. And I have tried to negotiate. And right, and she went back and renegotiated.
I was like, why did you close that deal? Wait, what?
That's all I'm only paying you. Right, I was like, girl, that's a good deal. And she was like, they didn't get your travel. You didn't get first class. Do you realize it's the lowest speaking engagement that they've paid for the last 5 speakers?
Like,
how do you know? I called all 5 of them and asked for their speakers rate. And so you took 1/4 of the deal. Right. And I was like, I don't ever want to negotiate anything again. Now I'll do the financing for the houses. I'm better with numbers. But when it comes to like closing and deals, that's Mecca.
Talent.
That's Mecca.
So did y'all get the timeshare?
No, we did.
I enjoyed the selling process. I was like, let me let him sell. I'm enjoying it.
So you're doing it for fun?
Oh, I was doing it for fun.
So you planning on getting it all?
No.
If it was a really, really great deal, he gave you what you were asking, would you have taken it?
Maybe if I was in a buying mood, like I felt like it was the perfect fit, and he was a good sales rep too.
Yeah, but no, I remember the no was because we don't like to go to this. I like to go to the same place. I like to go to Jamaica over and over and over and over again. And she's once we hit the country, for whatever reason, it's burned. Yeah. It's burned. You can't go back. I was like, so we can't go back to Fiji, can't go back to Dominican. No, I've already been there. Right.
There's so much to explore. Like I want to go to a new place.
Well, so I can assume when you were dating, you never believed in spinning the block, huh? You said once it's burnt, it's burnt.
Oh yeah, when that chapter's closed, it's closed. Listen.
That's true. She's very resolute.
She said she wouldn't even go to a destination twice.
She's very resolute.
And so when you came, the guy spoke to you 2 days prior, a couple of days prior to the Escalade about to purchase experience. And did you believe her at that moment? Did you be like, okay, how long did it take you to say, cool, we on?
Mecca doesn't lie.
No.
All right, so she just doesn't lie. So she just straight up say no, right? I don't want to do it, right? Like honestly, like I want to go Miami with my friends. Like I was like, okay, right? And
she's gone.
And she's gone. She's not gonna lie. She's gonna be where she says she's gonna be. She's gonna do what she says she's gonna do, and she's gonna be in the right moment where she says if I'm gonna be here at 3:30, she's gonna be there at 3:30, right? You can set your kind of your watch. She is a little late though,
sometimes,
right?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna sit here and lie, all right? But she's very consistent. She's probably one of the more consistent people that I know. So if she's gonna say she's gonna, Kobe said, and I believe in supporting dreams.
Yes, he does.
Right. So I was like, whatever your dream is, I'm gonna support it. Like, you know how you have to, like, okay, if you dating, what makes you better than other men? Like, girl, if you don't crack, I'm going to hold it in there. We're going to go to AA together. I'm going to get you a sponsor. And we're going to hold it down, right? She said she wanted to compete bodybuilding.
Yes.
And I was just like, all right. The idea sounds good. And then I was like, I thought you was talking about like the bodybuilding, like the big, I didn't know you were talking about bikini. I was like, you talking about like bodybuilding, like you doing a fit. Like I told her, I talking about like you do like 100 push-ups.
I think he thought it was like CrossFit Nation or something.
I don't know. Like you holding like a weight up and you doing 1-arm push-ups. I didn't know the bikini. I was like, everybody see my stuff. And here's the thing, Lateris, I had just joined the ministry, right? And so you know how my friends are, they were like, boy, your wife fine in the ball, boy. It was bothering me, man. It was grinding at me, right?
Y'all were married when she was doing bodybuilding?
Oh, she was, and she put it on Facebook, 10,000 likes, 11,000 likes, right?
Listen,
like, pow.
Listen, I put in a lot of work.
My mom was like, yeah, we like Mecca. Tell her, tone it down a little bit. So, but privately, I like that. If you know me, publicly, I'm like, babe, why you have to post that? It's an interesting story. So we're beefing, right? Because she's Kobe. I was like, babe, you've won 4 fitness competitions.
Oh, you was winning them like that?
I was winning them like Kobe. I was like, babe, you working out 2 times a day.
Yep.
I told her, you smell like creatine. All right, I was going too far. You smell like, I said, you bumping. When we walk by, you be bumping me up against the refrigerator. You're doing too much. You're doing too. I said,
he was like, I can feel your bones.
I was like, doing too much. And we went to the breaking point was we went to Valentine's Day and she pulled out cod from her meal prep. I said,
didn't want to eat anybody else's food.
I said, we're not doing it.
You pulled out where y'all at a banquet?
I think we're at Rathman's or something.
We were somewhere really nice, yeah.
Oh, y'all at another restaurant?
We had a restaurant.
And she brought her own food?
Her meal prep. I told her when she's locked in, the context is gone. This is Valentine's Day. You could miss a meal Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So we're beefing.
You put out your own meal at a restaurant?
Yeah, I did.
I said, this is it. I pulled us. I said, you competing. I just want to let you know. That's done. That's done.
He was like, this is the last competition.
The last time you competed was the last time you competed. I want to let you know I didn't go as far as I can go. I don't want to go anymore. And she was like, but this next one is the regional blah, 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 blah. My dad's going to be there. Right. I was like, I don't care. Right. And so I called my friend. I said, should I be beefing? And they were like, let me get this right. I'm not gonna say the first name. My wife fat than a mug, and you got a nerve to call me that your wife is competing in the bikini. Like, are you kidding me? Right? But it was the perspective that I needed. So I'm sitting next to her dad. This is the first time her dad and I have been to a competition. She walks out, turns around, and go bow, bow. I'm feeling so uncomfortable. You know what her dad said?
What did he say?
Boy, I hooked you up, didn't I? I said, that's where she get this craziness from. But what it was, I was like, look, whatever your dreams are, I'm going to try to stretch myself to be able to support them. But that was last competition. And I've told her she can, and I don't have this power. But I told her she never competing again. We ain't never going back to that.
Listen, I will compete again.
Did you win that one?
Yes.
So you just don't lose there, Mecca?
No, I do. But I was really committed. And
so you completed in 4 of them. You won all of them.
Yes.
I said, do you lose? The answer is no.
I mean, there was another one.
No, you don't. You won all 4.
I was committed. I was eating what I was supposed to be eating. There were no days off.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, you're no Kobe. I was like, Shaq, LeBron, they go out to eat with their wife. I say, I want Shaq and LeBron. I don't want Kobe. I don't want somebody after the game, they going back and shooting.
Go back and shoot.
Yeah, after the competition, the night of, she's back in the gym.
Yeah.
You said her daddy said what?
Yeah, I hooked you up then, boy. I was like, you don't have any sense.
And so did you like her body when it started transforming into all that muscle?
No. I remember I was like, I said, you see the girls who used to compete? That's what I like, right?
You said used to compete?
Right, I was like the ones that, I was like, keep eating that peanut butter because the night before they thicken you up, right? I was like, I like the peanut butter girl. And she know what I like, she considers fat.
Yeah.
Like, she know I'm getting fat. I said, girl, you getting thick.
Right.
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
Like,
you can add 10, 12. You can go 20 for me, girl. Right? You can get thicker. Right?
Do you like your size now?
Yeah, this is good.
You don't feel like you fat?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure you ain't got unhealthy.
No.
I'm so overweight right now.
Oh, no, she wouldn't even listen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how did you feel? So, when he said that, how long were you going to keep competing?
I competed until he said this was the last fitness competition.
So, you would have kept on?
Oh, yeah. I would have, because you're locked in. So I would have kept on probably until maybe June of that year, because you don't want to do it all year long because it is rough on the body. So, and then I probably would have done it the next year for a couple of months and taken time off the next year, because it gets addictive. I don't know if you've met any fitness competitors. Like it really does. Like it's a whole different world.
Yeah, now she runs.
Yes. Yeah. And I enjoy it. Yeah.
So in your mind, there still wasn't like, after I win 5, I'm good. You're just it's a lifestyle.
No, because people typically go after their pro card. So once you compete and win on the local level, I was qualified to then go chase after the pro level. So yeah.
Just levels and levels.
Mm-hmm.
How were you able to, now he called you an alpha woman, that you're a woman. How were you able to submit to him saying that?
It was about taking him into consideration if we were going to stay together in the relationship. And I would never forget, my beautician at the time, Lewis, said to me, Mecca, this guy's everything that you prayed for, that you've been talking about, but you cannot wear the pants and the dress at the same time. And this was coming from a man. And I was like, Lewis is right.
You cannot wear the pants and the dress at the same time.
Yeah. And she knows I'm not going to let it go. I flex as long as I can go. I've been nice. I'm trying to be Buckhead. You want bankhead. And I always say that. I was like, I try to do it by the
He
book.
does say that.
I was like, you get mad at me when you make me go Decatur. And you get mad. Like, how did you say? I wrote down everything and said it the right way, and it didn't work. That's why I was like, Inglewood, only here's Inglewood, right? And so she know I got to the end of my rope.
Yeah, but he was
right?
at the end.
I was like, all right,
at
you
the
got
end.
one more. You got one more. Right. Go on up there and compete if you want to.
He said Buckhead.
Right.
Buckhead meets Bankhead. Oh, God. And so how are y'all? So y'all been married for how many years? 11?
11 years.
11 years y'all been married. How did y'all, so here it is, the first year of marriage. How was the first year?
That was so long ago. First year.
So I think honestly, because we dated for 5 years, I think the first year was great. Like we did the work. We went to premarital counseling. He didn't think that he was too big of a person as a psychologist to go to premarital counseling.
I'll pull out the worksheets.
Yeah, go to someone who he respects, right? And so we definitely were doing the work. But then also what I found in the first, not year, but the first 3 years of our marriage was that I was losing myself as a woman and the person that God called me to be. I think that I did exactly what I wasn't doing when I was dating him, which was keeping my sense of self and, maintaining the things that I enjoy doing separately outside of him. I felt that in that first 3 years, I was like, okay, let me do a little bit of what I saw my mom do, my aunt do, what I saw on TV. And he was like, who are you?
Oh, you stopped liking that version?
Yeah, he was like, what are you doing?
Part of me was liking it. like, girl, you owe me all these competitions. Like, so you are coming out of the deficit. All this cooking and not arguing back. I'm feeling this, right? Like, whoever talked to you is whatever beautician talking. You can go to him all day, right? But then the other piece was I'm watching. So this is my wife. I'm watching her now do too much. I'm watching her wash dishes at 11 o'clock at night. I'm watching her grind herself, and this is still a perpetual issue. I was like, babe, just do it in the morning. Let it go. Let's just get cleaners. Yeah. Let's just cater. I said, I know how my family is. As long as the food is good, right? It's good. You don't have to produce this magnificent meal. You're not going to be your mom or my mom or call your sisters, right? Like her middle sister is a professional chef.
Yeah.
Like she is the, can I say who she's flight attendant for?
Yeah.
Like, okay,
well, no. Probably not who she, but but the wealthiest African Americans in the world, United States, like she's their private flight attendant and chef. Yeah. So she's worked with all the different celebrities, and so she can cook.
Let's just call your mom. Call my mom from Tuskegee, Alabama.
She can cook for everything.
Call any of them. They're cool with it. I don't want you dragging yourself into the ground. I don't want this. And then I'm a little non-traditional. Right? Like she was like one time she was like, I need to, what you say, luxuriate if you want me to be ready for you in the bedroom.
Yeah, he was trying to attack me, right after getting my workout in. I was like, wait a minute, hold up. Like, can I take a shower first? Like, can we?
This is good. The shower. No, you already.
Like, we already,
you already glistening, right? Yeah, it's salt on the back of your neck. That turned me on, right?
Salt.
That's salt. You don't know what I'm talking about, Latia. That's salt taste, right? So, yeah. So I was, And so I was like, she was like, yeah. And then I was like, I could put clothes in the dishwasher. What you tell me something about chore play? She was like, the weight of my heart, if I don't have to do all these chores, if you want me to be ready for you.
Foreplay, but chore play.
I was like, look, hey, we can take the kids to school every day. I can, put the clothes in the laundry. I had no problem. My mama raised me.
You started washing dishes.
Right, just be ready. Right. You give me the list and then no excuses. Right.
Give me the playbook. I'm gonna run it for you. And so is that your personality then, like you're a perfectionist, that when you get ready to do something, you're gonna just try to be like perfect in it?
Yes.
And so when you took on the role of wife, you studied what good wives were in your opinion and said, I have to do this instead of a la carte these things that other people did that you like, but then fashion it for your personality and your lifestyle and said, this is what's best for my home. It took you a while to get to that place?
It took me 3 years.
3 years.
And now I'm in a place where it's like, outsourcing is important because I work a very demanding job as well, and so it is making sure, and it's also communicating what I need. So I also did not communicate that, right? Because I did not want to have drama. And I think it goes back to what you hear in your household. Like if you hear a bunch of bickering or nagging, I didn't want to be the nagging wife. So I just would not say anything. And Alduan was like, actually, that's not helping you, because when you don't say anything, it makes me feel like everything is good when everything is actually not. And so we've had that conversation a lot.
Yeah, and I like drama. I like just say how you say how you feel, right? But I grew up watching my mom and dad go at it, and then 8 minutes later it's over.
And I did not, because my parents had those conversations behind, like in the bedroom. So I never saw my parents bickering in front of us or having a heated discussion in front of us.
Which I think is important for kids to see how, conflict resolution, to be able to see their parents have a disagreement right in front of you and kiss each other and keep going on.
Listen, our youngest daughter is named Trinity, right? She is an empath, and she also has a mix of our personalities. Would you say more mine? She's patient like you, but she definitely has the flair.
Oh yeah,
right.
Turn up trend. That's her name.
Turn up trend. Right. Like if they call and say your daughter, all right, okay, everything you say about to be true. Right. Like it's getting no defense of her. And if we get into the tone doesn't sound good, she has a code word saying pineapples.
Yes.
I mean, like this is going left, and I'll just be like, I didn't even say anything. We're just discussing it.
Right.
And she's like, but look at your face. I was like, oh my God, I can't even talk to my own wife. And she was like, she's just like, you just need to fix your face, clock that T. That's whatever she's talking about. You need to stop, because you can't talk to mommy like that. I said, all I was explaining is that your mom needs to communicate with me,
you gotta explain to your daughter.
I know what she means.
It done shifted from just having a conversation with you, trying to explain it. And how old is she?
8.
But
she'll be 9.
Yeah, but she's like the mother hen, like Mecca. But so we don't get into it in front of our kids. I think we might have done that. Like I did it once, right? Right? I think I said, turn the TV down. TV was up. I'm talking about whatever movie it was. It was so loud, right? I was like, y'all have stereo sound on. Did you take the speakers and put it under the bedroom? I'm like, turn it down. And I said, turn it down. And I slammed the door.
Yes, he did.
I slammed the door, right? Bang. And then I didn't think anything of it. And next day I was like, why is the TV so low? And Trent said, turn TV down before you slam the door. I was like, no, it was just like, I feel awful, right? So we believe in modeling, like healthy conversations.
That's good,
right? Healthy conversations in front of our kids.
And we have a 3-year-old son who is watching him, who is his twin. Literally looks like a little miniature version of Alduan, and he watches everything. But also, he does not play about me.
Oh no!
Listen, if Alduan even raises his voice a little bit, he is running to be at my side. Like, hold up, wait, what's going on? Like, he's 3.
I was like, boy, you came from me. You were in me.
And if I tell you what part of me you came from,
you came from me, right? He was in my sack, right? But he's funny though. Like he'll kiss her and look at me.
Oh yeah, he's like, Daddy, I'm kissing mommy.
Right. I was like, let go of my wife. He like, this is my wife. Right? I was like, boy, you getting a little too fresh.
What do you believe? What makes this work? You had these 2 strong personality types in this own distinct way. A lot of men find that alpha women are extremely challenging in marriage, and that's the reason why you'll hear them in these social media streets say the reason why a lot of them are unmarried is because that whole thing that you were saying earlier, where you said, I don't want to consider somebody else's needs, feelings, desires. I want to go do what I want to do when I want to do it. If I want to go on a girls trip, I do that. I don't need your permission. I made I've carved out this life the way I've carved it out, and this is what rewards me. And if marriage is going to choke me or strain the life out of me or make me feel like I'm a substandard version of who you met prior to marriage, I don't want it. So why does this work?
So one, I think it was a change in me. I had to want and desire to be something different, to be a wife, to consider someone else's feelings, and to take into consideration what he's asking me to do, and also his leadership, right? And then I also have to be in a place of comfort, knowing that the direction that he's steering me in is right.
Good.
I have to want to follow him as the leader of our household. And so it was me having that real conversation with myself, because I told a girlfriend literally last week, who's an alpha female who makes, over $500,000 a year, has been trying to meet someone. And I told her, I said, every story you've told me, you want to take an alpha man and put him inside of your dollhouse. There is no need for him in your life, because you remove all of the things that a man will want to do. And so that was me having a candid conversation, because I also saw a little bit of myself in her back then. And so I think it's women having those realistic conversations with themselves.
Is that hard? Before you say that, Alduan, is that hard? Because as a man, I don't know what the complexities of that is,
right.
Especially when you're a woman and you get to a certain age where you just out of habit have done it on your own for so long. How hard is that transition to allow the trust, the safety of a man? I love where you said that it's rooted also in a man's leadership of you, because there can be no submission unless there's first submission.
Absolutely.
And so how hard is that transition as a woman? Give language to for men to hear, to know that here you are, you got married younger in age, but you got married at what age? 30?
30.
And so you get somebody else that's 40.
Right.
They've been doing it for 40 years, making $500,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? Making that kind of money, got their own house, got my own crib, INDEP, all that stuff.
Right.
And then you say, now I want you to trust a man to now lead your life. I want you're not going to be an absent person in this marriage or this relationship, but you also have to relinquish some things. How difficult is that for a woman?
It is very difficult, especially when she's been heartbroken or she's met the narcissist, the imposter in Atlanta, right? Everybody's doing big things. She's met the player. Her heart has been broken. But I would say not every man is that way. And God has specifically picked out someone specifically for you. So you have to be open and willing to think that there's something greater for you, and you have to pivot. Yes, that takes therapy. I was doing therapy before I met him because I had to make the changes within myself.
At that young age?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're doing therapy in your early 20s?
Yes, because I knew that I wanted to be a wife. And then I didn't tell you about another event that I hosted. One of my girlfriends, Tiffany Chambers, her mom actually came to the house, and we were all sleep after being out all night, having a good time. And she had one of those big bubble jackets on. In Atlanta, it doesn't get that cold. And she literally busted the door open and was like, you all are sitting up underneath each other, single, successful, but not doing the work to meet anyone. She was like, you guys need to get from up underneath each other and actually spend some time investing in yourself and getting yourself ready to be a wife. And so essentially to me, what that meant is that, why would it's good to have girlfriends, but just like you do in corporate America, you get a mentor, you get, a board of advisor when you're wanting to move up. What I did was I hosted an event where I brought wives in, because I wasn't aspiring to be forever single, right?
That's good.
I was aspiring to be a wife. So I needed to bring together wives that inspired me with their walk and their journey so that we can learn from them. A single woman can't teach me how to be a wife. She can't. So why would I just have these conversations about relationships and dating with someone who is single? You have to be qualified.
That's good.
See, that's what soul means. Like anything she's gonna do, she's gonna study to the highest level.
That's good,
right? So that was, and so but also there's a whole nother brother. I don't want a puppet. That's boring.
Yeah.
And remember, my mom there's 3 doctors in my family.
Yeah.
Right. My mom, my brother, and myself. And so I'm used to seeing my mom run the show. Right. And I'm used to being around strong women. So that's the norm for me.
Yeah.
So I want a woman, if I'm thinking about our daughters, our son, how your grandma is, how your mom is, that's how I want you to operate. I want the man to be comfortable and secure in his skin.
Right.
So for me, Mecca is a good mix. So she's very respectful. Right? If I say I want something, her natural tendency is to say, okay. Right. And I'll say,
because I trust him.
Yeah. I'll say, if you don't like it, just say you don't like it. And then we're going to figure out what to do. Like sometimes she would think that I was like, she say her opinion and then I say my opinion and then she drop it. And I was like, when you drop it, I think you're cool with it.
Yeah. Right.
If you're not cool with it, let's keep arguing until we're done. Right. So that when we walk out here, we're going to do it. So she's respectful. All right. But I also give her a lot of latitude. I don't control my wife. Right now, do I necessarily like the bodybuilding? Do I like the ultra marathons and stuff? She could be gone for 4 hours. How long are you gonna run? Like, when dinner, right? You said you were going for a quick run.
No, he was like, you paid a babysitter to pick up our children so that you can go for a run. Absolutely, because I was training.
Let me say, like, quick. So we go on vacation, right? She's like, babe, we go on this hike. I said, all right, bet. Go on a hike, right? Right? So I work out, right?
Was this in Costa Rica?
Yeah, but I work out reasonably, all right? So I was like, all right, I want to look good. So I was like, we in Costa Rica. I'm walking. It's about 45 minutes in. We're nowhere close to being done. And I asked the guy, I said, how long is this hike? He said 11 miles. I said,
11 miles.
I turned around.
Yeah.
I said, I'm
11 miles.
I said, I'm going to let you have it, player. I'm going to let you have it. When you come back and be at the pool, I didn't pay to go on vacation to trek in the middle of the Congo, wherever we are, in the middle of Costa Rica, for 11.
You was about to do 11 miles?
That was exciting for me. Oh, yes.
And you did it?
Yes.
11 miles.
Yeah, he went back.
I went back. I walked back by myself with no guide. I could have gotten attacked by a bear. I did not care. I was so mad. But I also don't ask questions like I should, right?
No, he does not.
I was just like, all right, how long is this hike? All right, bet. All right, we can do this. It'll be fun. You get some fitness in.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking, there's no pace. They're talking like this is not over. Like when he says, like, yeah, this is our first of many markers. And I was like, we're almost done. Like, it's 100 degrees out here, right? Like the gnats. I was like, this is not fun. This is the end of fun for me, right? I walked back. I said, I'm gonna let you have it. You and your extreme personality. But that's how she is.
Well, hold on real quick. How long did that take? How long 11 miles take to hike?
That was a few hours, actually.
So you're on vacation. You spent a few hours just walking.
It was wonderful, though. He was lounging.
I was lounging. I was read a book. I was like, we just totally.
So how do y'all give each other that grace? The grace, because she could be like, you just left me with this stranger,
no.
and you could be like, and you decide to go do this. How do y'all give yourself that grace to explore what y'all want to?
I think one, chemistry. Right. So she's partially thinks this is funny. Right. She was like, I was wondering how long it was going to take you to realize it was 11 miles. So it's chemistry. I was like, yeah, you got me. But guess who not finna go on the rest of this, which you didn't anticipate is me turning around.
No, I did not. Because I thought once he was in it, he would just continue on. And no, he didn't.
I don't even think we had an argument. I think I was arguing. I was walking back. I said, you got me twisted. You think I'm going to find my way back. I can look at these tree markers and I can get back. I'd rather get lost going back a mile or two than submit to 9 more miles.
11
but
miles.
That's her. That's how she comes alive. And we have our things. Like I came home one day and I said, babe, I joined the ministry. She was like, today? I was like, yeah. So you know what that means? She a minister's wife.
Exactly.
No, he said we have an interview this week for ministries. It's something he had been talking about. But he's like, no, like they need to meet you and basically interview you as well. And I said, oh, really? I didn't know it was like us. I didn't know we were doing this together.
Right. And so she went. So she's game. So it's fair. So if I'm going to support, and so this is the issue of self-sacrifice. The self-sacrifice has to be even. I don't have to like what you do.
Absolutely.
Right. You don't have to like, and I'm not saying she loved Chris Brown more than Jesus. I'm not saying that. Right. Right. And so I'm not saying, so she's in her word too, but she wasn't ready to be a minister.
Yeah.
Right. She wasn't ready for the, when we walk in, people say, hey, come on over here. Could you lead the wives and prayer and, all this stuff. What happens like day one, right? And so, but she was open. So that meant that now it switched. So now I'm doing late nights. So I'm working and now I'm doing seminary, right? And so she comes in there and so I'm locked in and she's asking me a question. I'm like, you can't say I'm in the word?
And we had Trinity was literally a newborn doing all of this too.
So she's doing the heavy lifting, with our daughter, right? While I am doing this, but it's fair because I went to these fitness competitions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I stood in the gap for you. And so that's what I'm... I don't like the term power couple, but I like two working couples supporting dreams.
Yeah.
We sit and talk about, well, whose season is it?
Right.
All right. I was
like
it's grind season for you. All right. Yep. So I'm going to be first with the kids. I'm going to lock down the education. Yep. I'm going to lock down the tutoring. But come June, I'm going to be on the road. I'm going to be doing my thing. Good. And so we make sure that it's...
And some men are
fair.
not okay with that.
Explain.
So I've met wives where literally the husband is like, no, I want you to be at home. I want you to be at home with the kids. I want you cooking and cleaning. I don't want for anytime she tries to do something that she feels passionate about, that God has specifically told her, this is your walk, the husband shuts it down.
Right.
So that's his ego getting in the way of God's purpose for her life. So it's about making sure that you guys balance each other out and that you also uplift each other and that you share in the same dreams, even if they're different.
It's funny. It's funny because, she's competitive, but I'm also, my mom was super successful. Right. And so I think Mecca came in second in sales. And I was like, if you're not first, you last. I was like, how you coming second? We didn't get no Hawaii trip.
He wanted to go on the President's Club trip. That's what he wanted.
I could have picked the kids up more if you would have told me you were 3,000 away. I could have taken. I should have done volleyball. I could have done volleyball, girl. They nothing. I didn't cook, but we could have Uber Eats, girl. Come on now. If you're not first,
he was game then.
So I'm like, if it's an opportunity, the only time I'll draw a hard line is if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't like what you're doing, don't do it.
Absolutely.
And that's what she says. I'm extreme. But don't go. Figure out something else we could do.
Absolutely.
We could pivot different direction. I don't want my wife to go work herself to death
on something
for a corporation, And so, but if you love doing it and you going hard, I'm gonna support your dreams, right? But I will say, well, who is your mom coming over here? Is your sister coming over here?
Or
someone picking the kids up from school? I'll drop off, but I'm not leaving at 2:30. Right. They go get the kids.
How'd you deal with number two?
I was fine with it because I was a present and available mom and present wife as well. And so it was a balance.
That's good.
Yeah.
We had beef over that though.
Wow. But it's based on you though, huh?
So because she made me wait so long, we having no kid. I want you to myself. I'm counting down one retirement, you to myself, because I can't make love to you the same way in the house with the kids. So I'm already thinking about us traveling and all this kind of stuff. And she kept coming. And so when I say she's gangster, she's kind gangster, if there's such a thing. So every 30 days she would come and say, God sent me this dream of this little boy. God sent me this dream with this little boy.
Oh, it was very vivid.
And let me tell you, like I say, kind gangster. And I would just be like, man, I am so horny these times of the month. It's just weird. Like, I just feel like I'll be looking at everything. Find out. I called her one day. I said, what you put in my smoothie? She's putting macaroon.
Yeah, macaroon powder. Yes.
Right. Around the time she's ovulating.
But he was healthier because of me.
Right.
So it wasn't like poison or something.
Oh man, playing Rihanna. That's my girl. She Rude Boy is on. Like,
I made sure I was in shape. I made sure I had the best lingerie.
She was doing wrapping her legs around me.
I was like, you're not going anywhere.
I can't escape. I was like, girl, I can't be in this position because I don't have no exit strategy. I don't have no exit strategy. But then, so make a long story short, so we would play this dance for 5 years. Oh yeah. I mean, I was like, I couldn't think. I couldn't do work. I was like, damn, what is going? Reception's gonna be like, you all right, bro? Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know where it's coming from. It's not every day either. It's weird.
You didn't tell her. You just put it in there.
Hey, baby, take the smoothie to work. And I'm just like, I'm on 10, right? And so, but I'm also realizing what she's doing, right? So, okay, these little positions. So we playing this little game of thinking while we making love. Like, okay. Right. So make a long story short. I was unfortunately the patriarch of our family. He died at 102 as a Tuskegee Airman. 102. When I was at that funeral, God said, "You're gonna continue. You're gonna have a son to continue the bloodline." I was like, "What?" I was like, "God, no, this can't be real." So I went to Mecca. I said, "Look, I'm tired of you coming 5 years every 30 days like clockwork. That's what I mean, like a kind gangster. She's not gonna drop it, fam.
Yeah, I'm not.
She's not gonna drop it. It's like it's not gonna go away. I said, look, I'm gonna give you 90 days. What did I say? 6 months or 9 days?
Yeah, it was
30 days.
Yeah, no, you gave me 3 months.
3 months. I said, all right, 90 days. I said, I'm gonna give you 90 days. But if we don't get pregnant, could you please drop this?
Yeah,
because it's affecting our sex life.
Was she saying? Was she talking at the same time, telling you about wanting to have a kid? Or
she kept coming back with these. And let me talk about kind gangster. So I go downstairs and I hear all these women. Oh Lord, oh God, oh yes Lord.
Prayer meeting.
Yes,
7,000 women on a wise prayer call praying for her to have a baby.
They're praying over my womb. Yes,
it's like
it wasn't 7,000, was it?
It was
unfair.
Yeah, it was. No, it wasn't 7,000, but there were 300 women that had joined in from all over the world too. Ghana was like one of the main locations. These were some prayer warriors. And
Bishop Hogger on there.
Nancy Dozier, literally. Yeah,
I mean, all the big names. I was just like, I'm coming. Yes, over your womb. And I was like, no, I don't want to hear this. And I opened the door. I was like, this is so unfair. I was like, this is
in a war room, Jude. In a war room.
This is what I'm talking about. You don't let stuff go, right? This is what I'm talking about. You do the most, right? And so I said, look, I'm so tired.
He who does the most said you do the most.
Yes, right.
Does, but that's quiet gangster. She won't come and argue and neck roll.
Listen, God spoke to me, and God really did. He speaks to me in my dreams. So God gave me a very vivid dream, and the dream was I was at Emory Midtown Hospital, and there was a little boy that I was going up the escalator with, and he was just literally staring up at me, and it was the greatest love. And he was probably about maybe 2 or 3. And then literally we're coming down the escalator and he was an 18-year-old. And I was actually looking up to him because he was taller than me. And that was the first vision that God gave me, that we were having a son. And it was clear. And so I knew, I said, we're going to have a son. Because I've always been like a girl mom. And I was like, that's not the right dream. It's supposed to be a girl. But God was like, no, you're going to have a son.
That was before y'all had your first kid.
That was after our first one. Okay. Trinity is 8, and then Christian is 3.
So the dream you had was after the first kid.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And so you said that he was looking up at you, and that's the same look he looked at you when he kissing your wife.
He looks just like me. He looks just like my baby pictures. Yeah, he is like spitting image. And so I said, so God said, give her 90 days.
Yeah.
And so I've been disobedient.
So let me ask you this: were you not wanting to have another kid at all?
I was done.
So them 7 kids, you just said forget that.
You want
the 5 years for him, he was just like, no, I'm not trying to be an old dad.
I was just like, listen. I said, I really want to. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm glad, like this is a lot, right? This 250,000 times 250,000 times 250,000. Yeah, that's right. Dance practice. Okay, yeah.
He said, I'm good with one.
I'm good. But I honor dreams. So. I said, I'm gonna give you 90 days, but you're gonna have to drop it. But I'm not manipulative, right? And so I said, I'm gonna give you.
He went hard in the paint.
I'm gonna give you everything. I don't want you to say, oh, you didn't feel like it, right? I'm not gonna be explicit.
He was waking me up.
I ain't take care. I didn't take care of myself, right? I said, the moment of truth, I'm gonna blow this girl off the bed, right?
You gonna get it all.
I was taking all them supplements. I made sure my swimmers were swimming. I was waking her up. No, it's the time you ovulated.
He was
I want no excuses.
Working out, eating healthy. He was doing all the things.
No excuses. At the end of 91 days,
we done,
right? Mm-hmm. So we go to Disney World. Disney World in Florida.
It's after the 90 days.
It's not the 90 days.
I'm
Nothing's
disappointed.
happened,
I'm
right?
sad.
So she says, I said, all right, babe, well, go ahead, just take the final pregnancy test. Mm-hmm. And God spoke, right? God spoke, right? Took the pregnancy test and it was negative, right? Mm-hmm. She's in there crying.
I was sad at Disney. Yeah,
I was in the room like, Jesus, I knew I had you on the main line. Your boy that stayed up with you. It was in your word. Thank you for delivering me.
You wasn't even trying to play it off?
I wouldn't. When she was in the bathroom,
I know
she was crying, but I wasn't in there like, you okay? I was in there
he was
thank
not.
you, Jesus. I was happy. I was like, all right, babe, you ready to go to Disney World? All right, you ready? Got the Mickey Mouse hats in it. I was just like, thank you.
He was celebrating.
I did my thing, and God has spoken, right? We're at Disney World. Sister girl throws up, and It's a Small World. Throws up in the water, right? And I was like, oh, no, she's motion sickness. This is not real. and then we forgot that, again, Mecca not being in tune with her body. When she had Trinity, she didn't know she was pregnant until like month 4.
Yeah, 5 months pregnant.
Before you knew you was pregnant?
Yes.
We were praying over cancer.
Yeah.
We were praying over. They had done like a little tracer to find out what was going on.
They thought that I had like a parasite or something that I caught.
And she was game when she was working out 3 times a day.
Oh, I was working out hardcore with Trinity.
When I tell you, like Inglewood over here, just
but
whatever.
It didn't show up in the urine test. I was unique that it only shows up in blood work, and they did not draw blood work to find out whether or not I was pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so he's here. And it's been an enjoyment.
No, I'm talking about, so what happened? So she threw up and
then we went back. I got more pregnancy tests, and then I found out that I was pregnant. With him, it actually showed up the second time.
And then what was your reaction, Alduan?
I thought God was tripping, right? I was like, man, this is like you said 90 days. But here's the interesting thing. So part of it was I really was not anti-children. I was anti-working. For a long time.
Yeah.
I was anti not being present.
That's good.
I was anti not having my wife to myself.
That's good.
Right. So you talked about like how you make it work.
Right.
Because I'm a psychologist, I pull out the sheets and I was like, all right, where we gridlocked?
Always.
I was like, what's the real issue? And I was like, I'm not anti kid. All right. If we have a son, something has to change as far as work because I have to be present with a son.
Right.
With our daughter, I'm cool. Right. Like, okay, I feel like you can run the show. Right. But my son, he has to be a chip off the old block. There's a high expectation. The Tartt name means something. Right. And so when he walks in the room, he has to command the room. He has to love God. He has to do all the stuff. Right. Because my uncles and stuff would be like, yo, I know it.
Yeah.
Did he just talk back?
Yeah.
Like, you gonna handle that?
Right.
Exactly.
My mom would be like, what you?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So I knew it was going to be present. So I was like, so I need to be home more. So we need to have a come to Jesus meeting about finances. We need to have a come to Jesus meeting about what's going to go, what we're going to do. We need, you're going to have to really get serious about sales. Not just playing, right?
Listen.
Right, so we had a real
No, we did. We did have that conversation.
I was like, so because I need to be home. So I'm turning down speaking engagements. I used to work for the NBA. I was like, I can't do the NBA. I can't work for Oklahoma City Thunder. I can't. I don't want to be that absent. I can't do that. We're going to have to do something different until we pivot, and then that's what opened the door to be home. Because I talked about non-traditional roles. I was PTA president.
Yep.
Right. I'm the one that because we have an older daughter, right?
A blended family.
So I'm the one doing the college visits. I'm the one going over the essays. I'm the one, trying to help sister girl.
Older daughter by who? Which one brought the older daughter?
By me.
You did.
Yeah. So when we are doing this, it's like I'm non-traditional. Well, you don't typically see men, even though this is actually
as a PTA president.
You don't see SAT prep. Right. You don't see, we're going to go over this math. You don't see, no, that's not how we, like my daughter knows, like she's going to the 4th grade. Well, we're in a 5th grade bridge book. Right. Right. And she know I'm coming. Like, what we doing? What did your subject verb agree? Right. So we reading. We're not reading these baby books. Right. So anyway, make a long story short. So we based on talent.
Based on talent.
But if our kids are running in the Peachtree Marathon, I'm like, you better talk to your mama. You better talk to your mama.
Christian's 3 and he's already on the elliptical because he sees me. Like he literally sees me. So he's like, Mom, I'm going to go work out.
So we just swap. Yeah, we just swap roles.
So, which is interesting. And as we get ready to wrap up, I want to ask I love how intentional y'all were at pulling out the paperwork and the worksheets and saying, this is what we need to do. Which is interesting because how were you able to do that? Being very much so an alpha man that says, hey, this is what I've seen. This is how my father, you've seen all this. So how were you able to do that? Come off the road more or at all? You don't do speaking engagements at all anymore?
I do speaking engagements
but
now,
not as much no more.
But not as much. So like I'm not like when I was with NBA, you gone.
Yeah.
You gone. Are you like an athlete?
Yep.
Right.
You travel with them like that?
Yeah. I mean, because they don't. The interesting thing is like now they don't want to talk to you in Atlanta. You know what they're doing in New York, LA, but in Utah, I mean Phoenix. I was like, well, why can't I go to LA? Right? Yeah. So you talk, but you're on the road, and I was heavy on the speaking engagement.
You know where they are.
Yeah, speaking engagements, and so that's actually stereotypical. They gonna get mad at me. Some of them are right. Some of them are. A lot of the players now are actually married. They come in with relationships, right? So. Yeah, I wanted to be present. And so being a psychologist, right, there's this thing called the Gottman-Rappaport blueprint. So like we also do, marriage retreats, marriage courses. And so I'm like, if we know how to do this stuff, right, a lot of people just don't have the tools. Absolutely. Right. And so we pulled out this worksheet and it's talking about how you say your feelings. But the goal is feel me. Don't agree with me. Just feel me. If you can get two people to get me and I get you, we'll naturally compromise. That's good. A lot of people try to persuade and argue and say whatever. So we say like, just feel me that I want to be home more. Feel me that I'm insulted if our kid is not honor roll, not gifted. I'm insulted if if my son, our son is getting, like the other day, he was like, I said, what happened to school today? He was like, this boy tried to push me off the chair at the playground. And I said, well, what you do? He said, I pushed him back. I said, good job. Right? Absolutely. Right? If I come and my son getting bullied and I'm offended.
Absolutely.
Right? That's just not, I'm not telling my son to be a bully, but Tarts don't get bullied. Yeah, right? We don't bully, but we don't get bullied. Right? Absolutely. And so it's just certain, we're not at the bottom of the class. We're at the top of the class. Yeah. Like our daughter, Trin knows if you're gonna sing, it has to have some sauce on it. Right. Yeah. I'm like, you see that girl? She's singing. That's exactly how I talk to her. You see nobody clapping, nobody laughing. Nothing is dry up in here. They don't feel nothing. But it's about having those conversations. It's about having those conversations. I'm serious. Like this. No, you're not allowed. She knows it. You're not allowed to boring sing. You're not allowed to. And that's how my family is. Am I right or wrong?
No, his family is very intense, but we're on the same page, right? And so they are. But it's about being on the same page, and a lot of couples don't have the skill set to have those conversations. And that's why, like, over the years, past 7 years, we've helped hundreds of couples through our Weekend for Love, our marriage retreat, and Better Husband, Better Wife. Just giving them that.
Are those two different retreats? Better Husband, Better Wife is what a course.
Like a course. So like it helps people. So like these are the keys. This is the blueprint for successful marriages. Do this, you can have a successful marriage. Good. Right. So when they say there's no book on marriage, and it's like, yes, it is. Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the retreat is July the 18th?
Yes, July 18th through the 21st in the North Georgia mountains. And it's really helping couples. They don't have, listen, we have couples that come just to have a good time. They come have fun, build up their couples community. They want to be around like-minded couples. But then we also have couples that have come year after year because when they came, they were literally, their marriage was on life support. Because they were doing what their father or their mother was doing and what they saw. And the other thing is you just have couples that have gotten really boring in the marriage, having boring conversations. There's no affection. They're really roommates in their marriage. And so we know that if they come and spend the 3 days with us, we can transform their marriage in 3 days. And so it's been beautiful to see that, but we've also had to protect our marriage at the same time while doing this work that God has called us to do. And leaning in, like I was telling you earlier, and listening to my husband, because like I told you 3 months ago, I literally almost died. I had appendicitis and the doctors had to rush me into emergency surgery. And I will say that if it weren't me leaning in and not being the strong Black woman with the cape on my back, I wouldn't be here. And so leaning into my husband and his leadership, right, to get in the car and let him take me to the hospital.
You say y'all beefing?
Oh, we were. And that's why I'm here.
Because she's Kobe. I was like, girl, you just threw up bile. Like, there's no staying at home. I'll be fine. And I think husbands go through this, right? I was just like, babe, you're not fine. We need to go. Right. And so I give her a lot of latitude until it's ridiculous. Right. She said, crazy. So she want to pick her own doctors. Drop me off I was like, your doctors are not in the ER. You need to go I'm caring for a family member. I'm about to go take this shift. Like we talk about non-traditional roles. I'm going to take this shift and make sure family is good. Because if you're in the hospital, you're not good, right? And I was like, why don't you just be at the same hospital other family is, all right? Take me to Emory Midtown.
That's where my doctors
and drop
were.
me off.
I was comfortable
what
there.
Kind of husband drops you off at the ER
and drive off?
Like, do you know your dad would crucify me?
Yeah,
do you know my
have.
mom, my dad, my brother? Right, your sisters.
Oh, absolutely.
Our kids are like, oh, let me run this back. You did what? Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, make a long story short, she just didn't feel the pain. And so she gets there and the doctors are like, how are you just now coming in? You didn't feel this, like we've never really seen someone come in this late. They typically have so much excruciating pain. They come in earlier.
So you weren't feeling the pain at all?
So Monday through Friday that week, I thought I had a stomach bug. And I talked to one of my girlfriends that's a doctor. And she said, yeah, the stomach bug is going around. It's really bad. But Saturday.
Wait, were you feeling pain with that?
Not yet. Just throwing up nonstop for 5 days. But that Saturday morning.
Yeah.
If I'm throwing up for 3 days, 2 days, really a day, she know I'm finna come. I got to go.
Yeah, but Saturday morning was when I started throwing up bowel. And I said, oh, this is not a good sign. And then I started having like pain, like contractions. And I've birthed 2 babies into this world. And I said, okay, why am I having pains like contractions? And that turned into the moment where you're literally asking the doctor for the epidural. But there was no doctor. I was literally in the house, and that's when he said, we need to get you to the hospital. And at the time, I actually, before the pain really elevated or increased, I was downstairs trying to make the kids breakfast because Christian was hungry and I wanted him to have something to eat.
It's ridiculous. So I was like, look, so anyway, we just, so I was like, you going. Now, I'd like to tell you, and she'll make it seem like she went quietly. All right. She's going, you better take me to Emory Midtown. I was like, girl, just be quiet. I'm turning the music up. I can't believe this. And we go in. So the doctor's like, look, this is bad. We're going to rush you to emergency surgery right now.
Yeah.
Like you're not going back to be triage. You need surgery right now. We only have a window.
Yep.
You know what Sister Girl said? Tell me what you said.
I need to know who the doctor was. I need a second opinion. Listen, ladies, we know about the maternal mortality rate within the Black community, okay? I did not want to pass on the table. I felt like I was dying, but I didn't want to die on the table.
What second opinion you finna get in the ER room?
I wanted to contact a friend. I wanted to phone a friend. A doctor friend. A surgeon, somebody.
This is not some doctor. You're right. I was like, no. So so the paramedic looked at me like, bro, she's not getting it. And I was like, welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. We signed the paperwork. I said, yeah, brush her away. And I call her parents because her parents know how she is too.
Yeah.
They were like, do not listen to her.
And they went to surgery right then.
Surgery right then and there.
And what they see when they found what they see.
The doctor said that my appendix was twice as large as what it should have been. And he's been practicing general surgery for a long time. And this is the largest appendix he's ever seen that hadn't ruptured yet. I actually sold the device for 5 years to people that were in the ICU that had their appendix rupture to help clean out, to prevent them from literally going septic. So I knew it was serious. And I thank God that I'm here today. Like, I'm very, very thankful.
So she can't really win an argument with me now. I'm like, girl, you'd be dead if it weren't for me. Like I can do anything.
You know, yes,
but are you dead though? Right? Like you could be dead. No matter what I did, you could be dead. So whatever I did, I'm winning right now because you should be dead, left to your own devices. But let me ask her what the first question she asked the doc when she woke up.
What was the question, Becca?
Can I still run the half marathon? I have been training for a half marathon since January.
Why you want to run a marathon? You just got a surgery.
Well, I just need to know the timeline. And so,
have you learned anything?
But no, the doctor actually said to me, crazy. He said, you need 2 weeks of doing nothing, of resting, of just letting your body internally heal because you can't see what's going on. So for 2 weeks, I rested. I didn't do anything. My girlfriends showered me with love. I didn't cook, clean, anything. They took care of me. A whole village of like 30 girlfriends made sure that my kids ate. They were picked up from school every day. I have a huge village and my parents, his parents. And when that 2 week mark hit, on that Saturday, I did my first mile, then I did 3 miles and then 5 miles. And then I ran my second half marathon on May 5th, 2 months later in Vancouver, Canada.
Congratulations.
Yes.
So you went from bodybuilding to doing marathons now.
Yeah.
Are you done with marathons? You going to keep doing that?
The half marathons is definitely my jam for sure. Yes. It's the physical, like the endurance, the motivation, the excitement, the tribe, the Sisterhood Run Tribe, my run group. We have a good time. The community.
So you cool with that? You cool with the marathons? That don't take a lot of time?
I mean, she's running when she says, "Babe, I'm gonna go for a quick run." We already know.
It depends on how long the run is.
Everyone knows. Like if the whole squad is at the house, like she'll be back about 4 hours. We can go to the movies.
Y'all out there running for 4 hours?
Depending on how far, yeah. It can be, yeah.
I always wonder how people do that. You will literally leave your house,
yes,
and run, pass your car up, and go run.
Yes. So he knows I like to travel to my favorite trails. So I may go like 30 minutes away or 10 minutes away to a trail I really like, and then I'll go in and just get lost. Like
for 4 hours.
Oh yeah, I like to go to beautiful places. So like just getting lost in the forest.
It may not be 4 hours.
Or 2 hours.
How long till you run 13 miles?
Well, actually, so not 4 hours because it took me to run 13.1 miles 2 months after surgery. It took me 2 hours and 14 minutes. I was moving.
Yeah, like that's not fun. I was like, you getting money?
It was so much fun.
Like you gonna be Kobe, get money, right? But that's her thing. When I met her, she was like that. She was into these fitness competitions, and so it's just one thing after another. And so, I'm gonna support it. And then the vibe of the house changed when she leave, like because she's so strict, right?
They're having cookies.
When she leave, I'll like get the cookies, get the Doritos,
he's ordering everything on Uber,
soda,
Instacart, Uber
right?
Eats.
Oh, it's about to go down, right? Yeah, right. And then throw it in the trash can and put it outside, right.
So answer this. What I love about y'all's transparency and vulnerability is that, like, even when y'all may go on stage at your retreats, y'all may be arguing in the car, and then y'all get in front, y'all might hit a stage or whatever, and y'all don't try to hide.
No, we don't.
Why not?
Because I think it's important for couples to see real, authentic couples, and no one has the perfect marriage.
Yeah.
No one has the perfect marriage. And I see that people like, oh, I want this marriage. I never aspire for anyone else's marriage because you never know what's going on behind the scenes. And then also, it's just, I can't fake the funk. Like Alduan says, I don't lie. I don't lie. Like it's hard for me to get up on stage in front of a group of married couples and we're all going through the same thing and to be fake.
And so I'm completely different.
Yeah, he's on. He's like, all right.
When you're on, you have to be on, right?
Yeah.
Nobody cares what's going on, right? And so like, and I'm notorious for, I'm laid back. And then I'm the micromanager, right? So I start asking questions.
At the last minute.
So you've done events. So I'm going in, I'm looking at AV. I was like, that's a nice AV setup. All right. And I was like, how much is AV? She said $10,000. I said $10,000.
He didn't come to the budget meeting that we had.
I don't show up. Right. I was like, you spent $10,000.
4 month mark, 3 month mark.
You done it. You adding up. I was like, we have an AV guy, DJ, AV sound, drop lighting. I was like, lapel mics. I'm looking like, okay, a set design.
You think
how much?
The day of?
Yeah, I'm like, the day of. Like, how much did we spend? How much did we just? And she's like, well, don't give me verb and give me a number.
That's because he shows up as a talent, and I'm like, sir, we're in this business together.
I said, so we have to sell. So you're telling me I have to sell 87
more
marriage packages to break even right now.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for telling me. And so we'll be beefing. We'll be beefing. You know, all right. We beefing. All right, but we'll be beefing. And then it was, hey, blessed and highly favored. The Lord is with you. Yes, amen.
Yes.
But I was like, look, Lord, how many of y'all ever argue with your wife before you go? We just had. How many of y'all's wife doesn't tell you the cost until the last minute, right? That's what Inglewood did. So she lays it on me because there's nothing I can do but be
And I'm going to say, ladies, how many meetings did he not go to leading up to the actual conference?
But I didn't know I should go to have to talk about the budget is the budget. Like, when did the budget not become the budget?
He does not like conference calls or meetings. He's like, I don't want to meet to just be meeting to have another meeting.
But because we have many fires, we have been front and center, right? Like, people look at us. Like, when you're in the fire, you know how to perform. So I know when to leave Sister Girl alone.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Like, this is really funny because, I'm in church, right? And I didn't ask any questions. I just said, let's make sure we have a dope nightcap. A nightcap is a sexual experience for couples to learn about sexual intimacy.
Yes.
Well, these coaches started talking some stuff. I was
marriage retreat.
I was sweating. I was like,
and one of his mentors was there.
I said, you're going too far.
You said his mentor?
My ministry mentor was there. Yeah. I was like, this is going too far. You're going too far. This was good.
Did you say it on the microphone?
I am looking at them like, whoa. She's laughing. This is great. I was like, you're going too far. You're going too far. Then anyway, they started pulling out apparatuses. I was like, no, this is a church event. I know everybody's married.
It's a church event.
It's a church event, right? So
it's
like
a Christian-based marriage retreat.
But
it ain't at a church though, is it?
It's not.
No, it's not. So I'm thinking, I was like, man, I'm about to get fired. Right, I'm for real. Like Tartt, you had one job, do the marriage retreat, and I went up and I said, I'm sorry, I didn't vet him. My wife vetted him, but that's my responsibility as the man. I said it's my responsibility as a man. At the end of the day, I'm sorry.
And everybody was enjoying it.
And said, what you talking about, man? Me and First Lady had a time of our life.
We had the best night ever. Yeah,
that was the best night ever, brother.
We'll be back next year.
We'll be back next year. I was sweating buckets.
Oh yeah,
I was sweating buckets.
I apologize. They're like, that's the best
right. I was like, as it was going on, I was like, I'm so fired.
So as extra as you are, you get shy about stuff that may be a little too far.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I'm a minister. Right. And so I can't be of the world. But because I'm a psychologist, I meet people where they are. So it's like there's no judgment. Right. But when I'm in there and, But
listen to what you just said. You said as a psychologist, you got to meet people where they are. But as a minister, you got to do what?
I had to preserve the word. You can't just the church can't be the world. So it's a line, right?
But why can't it be the same heart posture of meeting people where they are in the body of Christ?
If these are my clients and they were talking about this, I'm all in.
Yeah.
But I'm reading the room.
And when you were reading the room,
I'm reading the room like, man, are the ministers here thinking this is an abomination, right?
When you were reading it, did it feel like they were?
Like I say, I err, like we're talking about anxious. Yeah. I'm always the one like, okay, I think this might be going too far. And I'm also the only one on the team to be able to stop it. They'll go all the way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I'll hear playlists. I was like, how's Lil' Kim in a playlist? like what is it? Did you vet the DJ? Like, come on. Why am I the only one?
I said, well, we told the DJ no R. Kelly. Like, we told him that.
How about Christian R&B, right? I'm cool with 112, Jagged Edge. How's Lil' Kim in a playlist, right? So they always laugh.
Sexy Red in the play.
I'm the one that has to do this because I was like, are y'all hearing what they're playing at the wedding reception, right? Because we have a reception. We do a vow renewal. Yeah. I said, are y'all listening to this? I said, do you realize who's in? Y'all could have played anything.
So, Mecca, where do you be at? It don't trigger you when you hear stuff like that?
So you should hear my playlist while I run, but but listen, I'm a woman of God, and so it is. But it's balance. It's balance. I think balance is really important. Yeah, and listen, the ministers and the first ladies have a great time.
Yeah, and that's the key. You want them to have because you want to have a good time, but when you're in charge, see, when the buck stops with you, so they're not going to call Mecca and say, come into the office.
Right.
All right. They're going to call me in and like, okay, at what point
did you think this was okay?
Did you think this was okay? And I was like, well, yeah.
But it's a reminder that couples aren't having enough fun.
That part.
You can't be so Christian that you can't have fun.
Yeah.
Right. And then
so heavenly minded, you're no earthly good.
And so when we start talking about, and here's an interesting fact, the number one reason why couples get divorced in a year. So like couples that got divorced, they only lasted 12 months or less with sexual incompatibility. Right? They're like, I can deal with a lot of things. This not one. This ain't it. I'm not finna do this. Even for Jesus. I'm sorry. Right? And so we educate. Like, hey, y'all God wants sex to be in the kingdom. And the church is afraid to talk about that. Right? And so they'll give me latitude. Right? But it can't go too far.
Yeah.
Right. So it's walking that fine line of making sure that couples are able to talk about it, be free, but not invite any outside spirit.
Yeah.
How would you? What are some of the other main reasons of divorce? To say in the first 7 years, is that we talk about the 7-year itch?
So it's like there's three things, right? So I'll tell you who fails at marriage when it comes to men who do not take influence. So I'm not going to say alpha, but the traditional old school chauvinistic man. Yeah. Right. This is like, look, women are just to be seen, not heard. Yeah. Right. If you want an opinion, I'll give it to you like a child. Right. They don't work. Because you're in a whole relationship with a woman, and he who finds a wife finds a good thing, gains favor in the Lord. How you not listen to your wife?
Absolutely.
All right. So that's one. And so men that go into that thinking, hey, we're in a covenant. Hey, we have an agreement. We said till death do us part. But the woman's dying, and I don't have a voice. I can't say anything. That doesn't work. So, all right. Then the other three, marital. So they did a study. And they said, who likes being married? Because you can be unhappily married for 50 years, right? You can just be married because where are we going to get a better house?
Yep.
I'm not splitting this picture with no one. Right? This health insurance, your corporate health insurance ain't going nowhere, girl.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You just see what the Republicans' big, beautiful bill is.
Exactly.
Make the premiums double. No, you don't be on the corporate account. All right.
Absolutely.
But anyway, it's marital satisfaction. All right. So it's a couple that's saying, how happy are you and how happy am I? And if one of us is below like a 7, there's immediate adjustments.
Right.
So this marriage can't be, I'm a 10 and she's a 6. Right. And then the second one is, how invested are we? How sticky is our marriage? How many things do we do together? All right. Like how hard is it for you to divorce? Like if Mecca,
that's good.
If Mecca,
I always said that.
Yeah, if Mecca and I were divorced, they'd be like, but what happened to the marriage retreat? What happened to y'all hosting Easter?
What happened to the ring formula? What happened to Better Husband, Better Wife? What happened to, all the events that we host together and bringing family together, community together? Literally, our lives are so entangled and incorporated with each other that when people see me, they wonder about him. It's the same for him. When he's out there, like, where's Mecca? How's she doing?
Yeah, and so like Instagram had to come down, right? It's just too messy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's too hard to break because we're too invested.
Right.
We're too sticky.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's turning towards, and so it's hard for you to leave because there's too many things to split. So you're like, we have to work this out because we're connected, but you're also in tune. Right. We're doing too many things together. We stay connected. And then third thing is brutal. It's the quality of the alternatives. So if I can do better without you, if I know someone who will sit up there and let me wear a bikini and be clapping like, damn, my wife fine.
Front row.
Ooh, look at this, girl, do your thing, right? Or I'll go to a ministry meeting in 2 days. If my husband is called, I will stand in the gap for him, right? And so if you can't answer that question that my spouse is the best spouse for me, that marriage is not gonna work.
Right.
So we tell couples, and we are brutally honest, could we separate? Could we divorce? Yeah, we could. All right. So we better be the best spouse. So that's the driver. So I ask myself, like, would another man be cool with his wife running marathon? There's a bunch of women out there. Most of them married, right? How are they cool and you're not? Right? And like, look at all these other women that's competing in the bikini contest, right? That's doing it. And this is her, and you met her. She's been in pageants her whole life. This is who she is. She's not trying to do this for attention. This is who she is, right? So if another man can come in and be a better spouse, that's not gonna work.
Can be a better spouse.
And so when couples think that way, do we mutually move together to make sure we're both happy?
That's good.
And are we turning towards each other's bids for attention? Like if you want to go to ministry school, I'm gonna read the Bible with you. Right. Now I'm not gonna be out here running with her, right? But I'm gonna watch the kids. And I'm a runner. Believe it or not, I'm the actual runner. I'm the actual athlete of running, but that's gone, brother. One time I tried to run with her. I had pride. I was like, I feel good about myself. I don't have to prove myself. I'm not going 7 miles. I'm tapping out after 2 or 3.
Otherwise, I would say it ain't fun no more.
And it's not fun anymore. Right? You're not winning. There's no cloud. There's no crowd. There's nothing. There's no women like, oh, you won. It's just nothing. I'm with you without win or lose. Right? So those are the 3 things.
He's like, it ain't fun no more.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I was like, did you get any money for winning this title? So you just won the title. Win, you don't get any money. Yeah, but supporting, and I'm always thinking for our daughters, right? And because our oldest daughter's dating, I was like, well, he has to be a chip off the old block. When he comes through and you say, and our old daughter's very opinionated, and you step up and you speak before him, I need him to be okay with that. I need him to be like, well, she knows the answer, right? So why would I pretend like I know the answer when this girl never made a B, like ever?
Your child?
Yeah, never.
She's always made A's.
I was like, you know what I'm thinking before I can even say it. When your stuff comes back on you. Right?
How old is she?
She's 19, and she's a sophomore at Howard. So it's like when how can I be a hypocrite? Right. And she fits the women in our family.
Yep,
they're all super smart. They're all super talented. They all run things. They're all bosses and so on and so forth. And they're all married to very strong men.
Yep.
Right. And it's just like, look, man, I just let her roll, man. But just pick your battles. All right. No, I shut that down.
Yeah.
Right. And so we have to model that.
That's good. I love that y'all give each other grace and space to not only evolve into what y'all, want to become individually, but know how to shift. And what I love early in the conversation, you said, hey, all right, so is this where I need to be on in this area?
Right.
And then you going to go hard on this and I'm going to go take this. I'll take care of the family in this thing. All right, do we need to shift? Because, June, I'm going to start doing X, Y, Z. And being able to have those real conversations, because I don't, what makes a lot of marriages end, and I always see it at the end, the person will always start doing, after the divorce, they'll do what they always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, why can you do that when you were married? They'd be like, I just they never had the opportunity to, or they never even, whether or not their spouse would have told them not to, they just never even said it. You know what I'm saying? They began to fall into these social constructs of what marriage is supposed to be, rather than make it unique to what they needed. And that's what I feel like will help better marriages. So this retreat, July the 18th through the 21st.
Yes.
And how do people sign up?
They can go to aweekendforlove.com. So that's aweekendforlove.com and put in Tartt Love. It's TARTT, like our last name, Love, Tartt Love at aweekendforlove.com. It's going to be an amazing time. It's a wonderful time for couples to renew their vows as well. And a lot of couples say it's better than their actual wedding day. Like our business partners, Michelle Gainey is the founder, owner of Lamiga, which is one of the top luxury event planning companies in the United States. I'm not just saying that. Like, she's won all the awards for that. It's an amazing time.
Yeah, couples come. First, we have fun.
Yeah.
And it's this concept of being relationally rich.
Relationally rich.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get better in fitness. You want to get better at money. You want to get better with 5 best-selling books.
Yes.
More awards for the podcast. You're always building. What about your marriage?
Absolutely.
Right. What about your marriage? And so we give people a space to have fun, but also we do the deep dive, right? Because I am a psychologist.
Yep.
Like, so here's how it works. Here's how it's done. This is what you do 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's like lab. So so it's fun.
I'm interested. Have you ever had a retreat where the retreat taught people they weren't the best ones for each other, and they divorced afterward because they had to face some real life issues that they never that were left unaddressed while they were married?
I think we have had couples that have realized that have come to a Weekend for Love, and I think that gives that person a second chance at love, right?
Yeah.
And we have couples that come that are engaged or seriously dating towards marriage because they want to make sure that they have the right foundation.
That's good.
But that they're also surrounded with couples that are like-minded. You can't be hanging out with all your guy friends that are single thinking that you want to be a husband.
Yeah. And the strong part is like, and I tell you what I experienced when we first started doing it, and we having the men have to appreciate their wife, and the wife has to appreciate their husband verbally. I had never heard men
cry,
verbally appreciate their wife to that level. I never saw my dad do it. It was always in the back, right? It was always in the back room, or they did it when we were asleep or something.
Was it hard? Do you find a lot of men challenged to actually say that stuff to their wives?
So culture matters. So if I go to the gym and everyone's working out, I'm gonna work out. But at home, I'm gonna lay down. And so when you're watching a man who's Army colonel, a police chief, a firefighter, a marine, a senator, right? There's kind of people that come, and he turns around and says, "Hey, babe, I appreciate that. When I lost the last race, you made love to me like I was still the king."
Yeah. That's good.
Right? Even though I felt terrible, and I was moody, and I was irritable, and I was hard to deal with, and you gave me a season of grace, and then you told me to go change my campaign manager because you felt like I can win. That's what I needed to jump in. And I was like, man, this brother, that's how you talk to your wife? I was like, man, if he talked to Inglewood, I might lose her, boy, right? But I'm serious. I'm sitting there watching, like, I've never seen a man talk to his wife that open and be vulnerable. And then how the wives pour into the husbands. Husbands are like, that's how you need to talk to me, girl, right?
Absolutely.
She said she support his dreams. She said fire the campaign man. She didn't say quit. Right.
So,
get a real job.
Couples are learning from each other, and then we have them separate. So the men go to the lion's den and they talk. It's like a barbershop experience, but it's really where men talk and have those conversations, those important conversations, and get tools with leadership and leading in their marriage. And then we have the women have the Queen's Court, and it's all about creating that community, that sisterhood, having that connection as a wife, that you have a tribe of wives that are standing behind you and want your marriage to succeed, and not the girlfriends that are like, oh, just get a divorce, because that's easy.
What I love about stuff like this is that not only do you have this weekend experience, but I will venture to say that it builds relationships that starts lasting a lifetime.
Oh my gosh.
And so they'll be connected with this, and they've gotten a chance to experience something that they've never experienced with anybody on the face of this earth.
Yeah.
And then they stay connected. And
They
now when they
do.
go back to their respective cities, they be like, yeah, I'm gonna be in Houston next
Yes.
weekend. Well, come hang out. Because now you built that bond. Now you have
Absolutely.
this tribe of married couples that are able to go through these trenches
We've had
with
couples
you.
open up businesses together after
that's
attending
so
a
dope.
weekend for love.
They're like, we're not gonna say the couple's name, but they were beefing so badly, right? And when their marriage was repaired, people said we came because they were horrible.
Yes,
right?
they were like,
And
where
if
did
you
they
could
go?
Fix them, we 50% of their problems.
They have brought like 20 couples.
they
It's one
brought
couple.
they brought like 20, and they're actually from Texas.
Yeah.
Right, from Texas areas. Like
Yeah.
if they were at the end of calling it quits, and we couldn't talk them out of it, right? And they are now unified on multiple fronts, right? And part of it is being in community. Part of it is just the visual. Where do married couples go and see other married couples fighting for their marriages?
That's good.
Right.
And it's not like this group share, like, yes.
No. Like sitting in a
bought
circle,
I bought my
kumbaya.
wife upside the head 3
Yeah.
days. It's not that, right?
Yeah.
But it's like seeing couples learning new skills, seeing couples sit down and talk about, and that's the most powerful part, is our name has to mean something. Or our marriage has to mean something. Or I promised my kids I was not going to blend our families twice, 3 times. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is it. This is the final stop.
Right.
Right. And so whatever tools I need, we're here to get. When you hear couples stand up and say that, right? When you hear couples and say, hey, look, I wasn't raised. And we hear a lot of black men, this is the modern thing. I wasn't raised, like my mom was a homemaker, but I'm married to a judge.
Right.
And when we go
Yeah.
home, right, she's a judge, and I'm a attorney or a real estate developer.
Right.
This is new for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like for instance, one of the things I had to get used to is, like, in my world, she's my wife. But when I go to her business meetings, my name is, oh, you're Mecca's husband.
Yes.
I was like, no, my name's Alduan.
Pronounce, say it with me.
Yeah, Alduan. Oh, you Mecca's husband, right? Like when I went to Essence Fest, they were like,
Oh, my
hey,
goodness.
you Mecca's husband.
And he
It
was
wasn't
there.
Dr. Tartt.
He was there for his book and some. He was there with his publicist.
But-
he was like, I need to bring Mecca next time too.
Right.
What's going on?
So it's a new role. If you're talking about men, they're all like, because black women are the most educated now. They're the most
Yep.
educated in America, right? And black women are doing their thing. You look at colleges, and we need to have more males in colleges.
Yes, we do.
Chances of you marrying a talented woman are high.
Very high.
Right? And so you can either be insecure with that, or you can be secure with it. But it does take some balancing of some gender roles.
Yeah.
As we close, I want you to answer this. Why is marriage important for the black community?
Can I get that one?
Oh, absolutely.
Y'all can tag team.
So one, when you look at other cultures, so African Americans had the lowest marriage rate. We're at 34%. You heard George Fraser talk about
Yep.
that. East Indians are at 92%. East Indians have a household income of $110,000. African Americans have $54,000. And unfortunately, the marriage rate of 34% is trending towards the 20s and the teens.
Yeah, teens.
All right. So one, we're losing economics. Right? We're losing the economics of having any power in this country. All right. 2, it says in the Bible, 2 is better than 1, for they get better return for their labor. Right? Weekend for Love wouldn't exist if the 2 of us weren't together. Better husband, better wife wouldn't exist. 2 of us weren't together. Our ring formula. So the different businesses that we have,
Our kids.
the legacy,
absolutely.
who we represent. We realize that we're symbols, right? Who we represent, that wouldn't be here. Right. And so also when we start talking about men, married men are happier, healthier, and wealthier over the lifetime of a marriage. Right. We're happier because we have a best friend. And the average man, Latarius, you know this, has 1.2 friends.
Yep.
1.2. right? And so, like, Mecca's always setting these play dates. I was like, I don't need no play date. Why are we going to dinner with 8 people? Oh, my God. I was beefing about that the other day.
No, he really
Let's go on a date. I was like, why are these people showing up?
He had a good time.
Yeah, I have
fun. It was a surprise.
But I was like, why is there 6 people on our date, right? But anyway, but connections, fun, right? Yeah, she's like, I don't ask questions. She's let's go on a date. I should have asked, is this an alone date or
who's going to be there?
Right, group date.
Yeah, I didn't even know. She was like, yeah, a table. I was like, this is a big table. I'm so naive. Right? Like, this is a big table, but maybe they're out of seats, whatever, right? Yeah. And so we're healthier because women make sure you set your doctor's appointments, right? And watch your diet. And then we're wealthier because there's 2 incomes coming in, or at least there's balance if it's a sole household provider. But the other reason I would say, to men is that marriage gets a bad rap because happily married men are nowhere on social media. Right? You're not going to find my dad. You're not going to find her dad. You're not going to find, they're super private. They barely know how to text, right?
Yeah.
Right? So it's like our whole neighborhood is married. Yep. Everyone in our neighborhood is married. Everyone in our neighborhood is married, right? And so it's like, this is a benefit. And if you're able to build and grow and stack together, right? So like, who are we becoming together? Not only in Christ, but what are we doing for our community and our kids? Right. So marriage is important for the Black community because, one, it allows us to be able to get back to our roots. We were at 80%, with our grandparents.
Yep.
Right. And so and that's why we're intentional about promoting, not saying that we're perfect, but promoting marriages, and we promote other couples. Yes. Right. It's not just us. Look at this. Look at them. 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 Look at them.
Because we want other couples to see that, and we also want younger people to see that. Or like he just spoke to a group of young guys at the 100, Emerging 100, which is a group for young professional Black men, professionals. So these are men that have already established their careers, but they said they had never seen a man talk about his wife like that. And so it's important for Black men to see that, so that you're not getting these groups of
red pill community.
Yes, angry men.
Yeah, and I get it. They've been hurt. So they've been traumatized, and the part that my heart bleeds for them, even though they in my comment section, like you cuckold, right? Yeah. But again, she had to stop me. I was like, ooh, I'm finna go in. Oh, I looked at your profile. You just had pictures with a dog, right? You don't even have not one woman
or a friend.
Anyway, she was like, is that godly? I'm like, that's not godly, but it's not godly, right? But he came for me. I didn't come for him.
He came on my page.
He came on my page talking smack to me. Said I'm cuckold. I'm he impact whatever, right? Yeah. But I was like, but this is the model of manhood, right? So who you holding down? Now, I'm not telling you to rush into a dysfunctional marriage. You hold out, brother. Don't do that.
Yeah.
All right. We both come from dysfunctional relationships prior to meeting. So I'm not going to tell you to go get in something just to get in something, right? But I am going to say that get in a relationship that is healthy and whole so that you can build and you can grow together. So I was telling these brothers, I was like, man, there's benefits to this. First of all, think about the alternatives, because here's the reality. You may be anti-marriage, but you're not anti-sex. You're not anti-relation. You're not even anti-relationship. You're going to still like women, and you like high quality women. And you're going to go through a series of saying, well, I don't want to do this. You're going to break 14 different hearts, right? And it's going to have an impact on you, right? And so it's like, these are the benefits, all right? When I come home, my wife and I, we're different, but we're similar. Hey, we have fun. We can run business together. We can disagree.
It's someone to do life with. Like not
travel.
Doing life alone.
Let me ask you this, Mecca.
Have fun.
You take the last question. What is the benefit of women in marriage? Because I've heard a lot of stuff. I heard that women do not benefit from marriage. They say y'all die earlier. They say all kind of crazy stuff.
So, Latarius, the stats that you're talking about are very real. There's a lot of statistics coming out about how women experience burnout.
Yep.
The self-care is not there when she's married. Where she's single, she's luxuriating. She's doing all these different things for herself. But what I see is the beauty in partnership. And I have been single before, and I remember going to some of the most amazing places around the world, and I would say, look at that bird, but there's just me. Like I don't aspire to do life alone, and my goal is to be a centenarian. And I want to do life and experience that.
Live to 100.
Yeah. With someone, okay. Yes. Until I'm 100.
I said, God, no. Is that a surgery you got to get or something?
but and the thing is, but it's also about being healthy and doing that together. It's not about a suffrage. Nobody wants to suffer in marriage. It's not about me losing myself as a woman in the marriage. It's about making sure that he's also leaning into the things that I need, but me being in a place as a woman to be able to express what I need from him as my husband, the type of support that I need, and saying that, hey, I can't do it all, because you do have women that are working these high power careers, not like our grandparents, who a lot of them were phenomenal educators, but they got up at 2:00, 2:30. Yeah. We're working and working after work. And then we're also parenting and raising the children and cooking and cleaning. It's about going back to that chore play. Yeah, and so, yes, there's a balance, but I feel like a lot of women have muted, and I've been there in the beginning, muted themselves in their relationship. And so, yes, they are suffering because they're trying to do it all by themselves.
And that's what we were talking about. That's why I wanted to jump in. It's the women who are suffering are doing too much, and the husbands are doing too little. Yeah. Right. And so this is new. Right. This is new. And so in marriages, especially after children, like, marital satisfaction goes down with each children initially, right? Because it's harder. And so in marriages where it's fair, you don't see that. Yeah.
At all. Yeah.
So it's making, like, a lot of husbands have had conversations about, all right, how do we make this, now that you're speaking up, how do we make this fair? Right. I think I actually can take the kids to school, or I actually can travel, or I don't see any reason why the kids can't.
Our daughter is going to New York to perform. I have to work. Guess who's going to be taking Trinity on the dance tour? Right. He'll probably be the only dad there, but that is okay.
And we finna win too.
He is going to make sure she wins.
I prefer to go, right? And who she asked to go?
She did. She said, I would love to do a daddy-daughter trip.
Yeah, so I'm with that. Because she knows it's game time. It's game time, right?
I love it.
She don't want to lose.
I love it. Right. I'm glad that y'all spoke to that, because we want to put positive stuff out there in these social media streets. We hear all these people, and mostly people be single, talking about how marriage don't work. Right. And I'm like, you ain't been married before. And you just, you're like, well, I've read, and like you said, they may have read those statistics where there's truth in it, but then the people that are having the happier, I always find the most negative people have the louder voice.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like you said, y'all parents ain't gonna be on social media talking, I'm so happy that I've been married for 45 years. I'm so happy. They're not gonna say nothing about all that. Right. But they will stand up at the wedding when they start telling people, if you've been married for 10 years, stand up, 20 years, 30 years, 40, 50, and then everybody will give a raucous applause when you see somebody been married for 60 years. Yeah.
And it's what your reality is. Because at A Weekend for Love too, we have couples that have been married for a year, and couples that have been married for 50 years, and they come and say, you probably can teach us anything. And the husband is the first one to say, you know what? I learned something new of 50 years of being married.
Sometimes you get set in your ways, and then you just get set and you're an autopilot, and then you're not listening to your mate anymore about how they've continued to evolve. Like, I love hearing information with Halle Berry talking about menopause and perimenopause and stuff. Like, man, we don't hear anybody, something wrong with her. She having them flashes. She having them flashes. Having them flashes again. You know what I'm saying? But now it's giving more language to even with women going through vaginal dryness, or I had the tankers on, and her sex drive, Jewel Tanker, sex drive just dropped, and she wasn't even trying to have sex. And then he was like, well, what's wrong or whatever? She said, I have been having the sex with you. He's like, no, you haven't. Look on the calendar. And then she had to go take whatever pills or medication or whatever, hormonal pills. And now he like, oh, hold on now. So it's like that stuff. And so you'll find a lot of couples that have maybe faced divorce or feeling this part of dissension because it was something medically that was off, hormonal, that caused the person to take whatever was going on inwardly and feeling like they're being rejected.
Or for men, erectile dysfunction.
Absolutely.
As a result of heart disease medication.
Absolutely.
So, and that's
antidepressants.
Yep. So it's having those transparent conversations in your marriage, in your relationship, but being open to change, right? So if that's what you've discovered, okay, do you need to work out more?
Yeah.
Do you need to eat healthier, which your wife has been trying to ask you to do?
Right.
Or do you need to decrease your load as a wife so that you're not always thinking about 1,000 different things?
Yeah.
You can tap into your femininity, your sexual energy as a wife, because that is equally as important.
Yeah, or romancing your wife so that she can feel, and I know this is a weird word for a Christian community, erotic.
Oh no, that's a good word.
Because you don't want to be
that's holy.
Right, you don't want to be obligated. You don't want obligated sex.
That's Song of Solomon right there.
Because a man gonna feel that. Yeah, so you want. We can get into that later, but there is a thing called healthy eroticism. Your fantasies change every 90 days.
Every 90 days.
People ask, how do you keep like variety? Like you don't get bored? And I was like, you have to switch it up every 90 days, right? And so like we all get used to the same thing after 90 days. So the research is like, okay, you have to mix it up. Sometimes it's short, sometimes it's long. Sometimes she initiate, sometimes she's gonna dress up. She's gonna be Rihanna and sing
Sometimes
Rude Boy,
you have to role play.
right? And I might have to do Usher and she, them cherries.
You
whatever,
got it, you got it,
Cherries.
right. So you're gonna have to, but you're going to, and so I'm saying this is in the bounds of marriage. I'm talking about the two of us now. Two of us. You're going to have to, otherwise you're going to go to these you're going to be out, you're looking at stuff you shouldn't be looking at. Right. Not judging. Right. But you're going to get caught up looking for the variety you can have inside of your marriage. So you have to be, and we're not used to that as African Americans, and saying, what would you like to explore?
And I think every healthy wife should have an alter ego. I think that's important.
On,
yes, ladies, have an alter ego. And if you don't know how to find
don't watch this.
Tap into it, okay? Tap into it, yeah.
That's good. That's good. Well, listen, I've enjoyed y'all. This episode is amazing. It's probably about 2 hours. What is it, Rihanna? 2 hours, 10 minutes?
Yep.
Oh, Lord.
It's 2 hours, 10 minutes on dot?
Well, 2 hours, 10 minutes, 13, 14.
I have an internal clock in my mind. I can sit there and talk to people and know how long I've been talking to them.
Yeah, I saw her stand up for
Yeah, that was at an hour. But I was like, it felt like it's 2 hours, 10 minutes. That's kind of cool when I'm in this. This is my God space. But listen, thank y'all. Thank y'all for giving me, unbeknownst to me, premarital advice. I love that. I sit here as a student learning from my guests. I love when couples do marriage right. Like you said, no couple should be couple goals for somebody, but you can learn some stuff from people when you say, oh, okay, cool. When you're dealing with a woman that is more on the alpha spectrum, then you know how to lead properly, lead with grace, lead with gentleness, and then at sometimes just straight assertive. That ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then that woman, if she listens to God, will be able to say, I like that. I need that. Okay, thank you.
She like correction.
She like correction. Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, otherwise she gonna run over. She don't like that. She don't like that. She don't like that.
Because I hear every woman. I'm telling you, I've never heard a woman that's a boss in corporate America say they want a husband they can run over.
Right.
Oh no.
They never. They be like,
no.
What did your girl say? If you can't tell me what to, what you say? You can't tell me what to. What you say? You can't tell me to shut. What was that saying that Jill Scott said? If he can't tell me, what is it, Rihanna? You know what I'm talking about? If he can't tell me what to do, he can't tell me what to do. If he can't tell me some little cool little thing.
Okay.
If he can tell me what to do, he can tell me whatever. Fine. But anyway, love that. Every quote unquote, hate the term boss woman, but every woman that has a leadership position would like to be led.
Oh, absolutely.
If you can tell me what to do, you can tell me what to do.
Yeah, if you can tell me what to do, you can tell me what to do. And that's basically saying if you're a leader and you can say it with your chest, then I actually listen to you. I will follow. And that's what that is. Well, listen, make sure that I'm telling y'all right now, go sign up for the marriage retreat. Go to the website. How can we support y'all on social media? What are y'all social media handles?
So mine is at Mecca Tartt. That's MECCA, like the city. Moore, MOORE. Last name Tartt, TARTT on social media.
2 T's.
All right. And I'm at Instagram at Dr. Tartt. That's at DRTARTT. And make sure you go to betterhusbandbetterwife.com if you want the blueprint for how to transform your marriage into something that really feels good.
That really feels good. I like that. You want to transform your marriage into something that really feels good.
It's one thing to be married. It's another thing to feel married.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you want to feel married. I want to like her. Right? People can tell if you don't like your wife. And they can tell she don't like me, right? I want to actually like her.
Actually like her.
Right.
Listen, y'all been a huge blessing. Thank y'all so much for blessing the yellow couch. Hey, y'all give it up for the Tarts, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Stay tuned to the end for a letter to my future wifey.
Writing these love letters to you.
Ladarian, thrusted suddenly into Child Protective Services in 2015. My nephew, Black, a boy. The likelihood of being adopted outside of kinship, slim to none. Armani, 16 years old, Black, a boy, with 5 years in the foster care system before I even knew his name. The likelihood of ever being adopted, yep, you guessed it, slim to none. While Ladarian and Armani were trying to survive and barely thrive in an overpopulated and underfunded foster care system, I was living my own life, doing well professionally. Having been a single father with a daughter who at that point was doing well in college, it was my time to live my life, right? Wrong. I felt unsettled, tireless, agitated. There are just too many of our Black children stuck in ambiguity and in the limbo of the foster care system. In 2017, I legally adopted my nephew, Ladarian. Fast forward to 2019, I had no ties to this other young king, but I felt God instructed me to adopt him also, and I obeyed. Starting over with parenting should have been enough, right? Working with various foster care and adoption agencies to help bring awareness to the countless young Black kings in the foster care system should have decreased my agitation, right? Joining the board of directors of Advantage Adoption, an organization that helps find permanent adoptive homes for children in foster care, should have led to some type of resolve, right? No, not at all. None of it felt like I had done enough. I now realize that every one of those experiences was laying the fundamental foundation for my life's mission, Kingdom Royale. Kingdom Royale will be a luxury, state-of-the-art home for foster boys. Our first location will be in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We will utilize the whole person approach that instills identity, empowers them to advocate for themselves, and enlightens them regarding new perspectives and limitless options that they thought were impossible. Though the young kings will attend the local public schools that are in proximity to Kingdom Royale, our at-home curriculum will broaden their worldview through participating in the arts, attending various cultural events, learning about and engaging in multifaceted discussions about current events and even relevant historical context, introducing them to gardening and landscaping and even caring for our animals on our farm and on-site stables. We just launched our Startup Capital campaign with the goal of raising $2.8 million. Now, why $2.8 million? Well, in 2017, I created a web series in which I performed random acts of kindness for targeting the homeless community. One of the most notable successes was that one of the videos went viral, garnering 28 million views. However, one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't raise a single dollar to help in implementing a more sustainable plan for the homeless community. So throughout the years, with much remorse, I reflected on not maximizing that moment. I knew if at that time, just 10% of the viewers donated $1, we would have raised at least $2.8 million that could have really established long-term support for the homeless community, or at least started a long-term initiative to do so. This is my do-over. This is our new beginning. Together, we can attack this at the root by specifically helping our homeless Black boys who are already disproportionately represented in the American foster care system. I'm Tarts Whitfield. I've been nominated for 3 regional Emmys documenting my work with the homeless as well as my personal adoption journey. Despite those accolades, the greatest award for me is truly providing the infrastructure for a transformed life. Visit kingdomroyale.com for more details. Crown a king and make a donation today. When I say, I just hope y'all enjoyed that episode as much as I did, because it was absolutely powerful. Well, here's my favorite part of the podcast where I speak to my future wifey. Dear future wifey, I find myself daydreaming about the sacred beauty of our everydays, the slow mornings with coffee and conversation, The late night laughter under warm blankets, the shared prayers, the held hands, the unspoken glances that say, I've got you. I'm not just looking forward to the ceremony. I'm anticipating the covenant, the ministry of marriage, the refining fire that makes us better together, the comfort of knowing I have a safe place to land, and so do you. I look forward to the weight of your head resting on my chest, the sound of your voice filling our home, the lessons we'll learn, the challenges we'll face, and the love that will hold us through it all. Marriage to me isn't just a milestone, it's a mission, and I'm ready to embark on it with you. Let's build, grow, laugh, cry, and love deeply and intentionally. Your future hubby.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Remember, be lit, live intentionally and transparently, and don't stop loving.
Make sure to subscribe to our Dear Future Wifey YouTube channel. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. We welcome your support. Simply share our podcast with your friends and family.